Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to the Pillaging Podcast, the #1 podcast in Raider Nation. I'm your host, Kenny Stapler, joined tonight by Che, Kane, and Bobby Wasabi. What's up, everybody? Be sure to like and subscribe to the show on YouTube and or leave a review for us on your podcast service of choice. How's everyone doing tonight?
Fucking fantastic, bro. How you doing, dog?
Doing well.
What's up? What's up? We here.
Raider Nation. How you all living, Raider Nation?
Bobby Wasabi, what's good? What's good, Bobby?
I'm warm. That's what's good, man. See, that's why I got my pillaging tank on right now.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm representing two tonight, baby. Yep. One Nation.
Speaking of One Nation, fanwear.com. Make sure you visit them for the greatest gear in Raider Nation. Quick note from the seller: due to social distancing guidelines, the warehouse has slowed production, but remains committed to getting your orders out on time or as quick as possible. Just keep in mind they are following guidelines and are committed to touch-free production process while keeping 6 feet of distance at the manufacturing plant. Stay patient. Orders are shipping out as we speak. And let me tell you, the combination of quality and design is well worth the wait. When you see that One Nation custom tag imprinted on the back of your t-shirt, you're going to know you're getting the real deal. Kane showing off right now a custom One Nation basketball.
Custom, baby. Check this out. Can y'all see that?
With the Kane printed on the back and the number of your choice.
Yeah.
Jerseys currently not available, but they are coming back to the shop very soon. I've been told by the seller. So hang in there. If you like that jersey, it's coming back. Once again, make sure you like or subscribe on YouTube. That really helps us out. We do appreciate it. Doesn't cost you a damn thing. If you do want to donate to the show, however, head on over to paypal.me/PJ4F. That's paypal.me/PJ4F. Or you could donate via the cash icon in the YouTube chat. You can catch us live right now every Sunday at 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So right now we're doing the show a little bit later because it's a lot cooler in our respective households at that time. Speaking of donations, let me give a shout out to those that donated this week. A big shout out to our brother Mark Soto, a guy we had a pleasure hanging out with at the tailgates this year. Also Mark Zamora and John Day. You guys have been overwhelmingly supportive, and we cannot express our humble gratitude enough. Also, a big shout out to Patrina Phillips. Did I get that right? Patrina Phillips, who showed off her collection of One Nation fan wear on Twitter this week. She bought the whole pillaging line, plus the swaggering shirt, plus the proudly hated hat. She's dipped. She's ready to go. She's ready for this next season. She's looking real fly in her silver and black. So make sure you do so. You could support the podcast in many different ways. Those are just two of the ways you can do so. So without further ado, let's get down to this show. You can't talk football without cracking a beer, so let's crack open a cold one. Jay, you're up next.
Yeah, chelas con che. Let's do this, man. So your boy, because he's been in this quarantine, the chelas have started to get real limited around town, and so I had to find myself a new way to get some new tasty brews, and I found a link. I'm not gonna promote them quite yet because I might want to speak to them about a partnership of some kind. So I'm not gonna mention them right now. I am gonna mention this brew though. This is a collabo by two of our favorite breweries, and I can speak for all of us because we've all had some of their brews. Altamont and Alvarado Street. This is their Friends with Social Distancing, Social Distances, West Coast double IPA, and this is an 8% ABV. And I'm about to crack this, man. Let me see. Yeah, there you go.
That's that sound I like right there.
Let's get that poured out. Let's get a good look at it right there. There you go.
Golden Blondie right there.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, that's looking nice and tasty right there, bro.
That looks like some apple.
Pour the rest of it hard. I'm gonna pour the rest of that hard right there.
It's that super cloud right there, bro.
There we go. There we go. Get a little bit. So this right here, this bad boy. It has a 2-row malt. It has it's kettled with Citra hops and then dry hopped with Citra, Sabro, Nelson, and El Dorado hops, man. So it's got plenty of hops to go around. Let's give it a taste. Oh yeah. Oh man, It's got all kinds of flavor, bro. This is fucking delicious. This is delicious. This bad boy, it's got nice hoppy scent to it, but it's not super hoppy in the flavor. It's mild, I would say. There's a fruitiness to this beer. There's a nice little fruit flavor to it, man. That combination of hops is delicious, man. I'm very pleased with this brew right here. Very pleased. Shout out to Alvarado Street. Shout out to Altamont, man. If you guys saw us at the tailgate rocking them Altamont beers with the fizz face on front, that's you guys know what's up. You guys know what's up.
Altamont and Alvarado Street, two of the finest purveyors of craft beer in the Bay Area. So shout out to both of those spots right there.
Man, that's flavorful.
That's a dynamic duo. That's a hell of a combination.
That's right, man. Yeah. And Alvarado Street right down the road from us in Monterey. So they got lots of good beers, man. I recommend if you're in the area, stop by there when things open up.
When it opens up, when it's safe to do so. Bobby, I know you got a beer to share because I saw you had a whole flat of beers that you brought home.
Oh yeah, you just heard me crack one of those beers. I was actually up in Santa Rosa. Shout out to Santa Rosa, man. That our old stomping grounds back in the day. Y'all know what's up. And I had heard about this hen house because of the pouring spot right here in Watsonville. But when I went up there, I had seen that chicken thing, whatever. And here I got right here the Philadelphia Experiment by Hen House Brewing Company. Ooh. And yo, this is a 6.0. It actually got some fancy hops over here. It actually got the Simcoe hops, and they got some Vic Secret hops. I don't know.
Oh, there you go.
They were making a big old fuss about it while I was there, and I was like, I want that one right there. And the Philadelphia Experiment.
That's that Vapor Rub.
And for all y'all who know about the Philadelphia Experiment, that's that whole theory about the that warship disappearing and whatnot. I mean, I'm not wearing my tinfoil hat right now, but we'll get into that at some other time.
That's another podcast, bro. That's another podcast.
Yeah, that's another.
Hey,
one.
But that Victoria's Secret though, man. Is that was that filtered through panties or something?
Filtered through fishnet, filtered through the finest fishnet. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you could really taste the panties, bro.
The schmetla right to the top.
Hey,
what's the ABV on that? Two questions. What's the ABV, and is that the first hen house brew we've had on the show?
Indian Pale Ale with a 6.0, and yes, this actually is the first hen house that we've had on the show.
That's right.
And you know what's crazy is that I'm gonna try to hit them up, man. See if they can sponsor us because they do a lot of badass art, dude. This is just one can. I'll keep tweeting and showing you guys later on as we do this some more. But their art is very, very fucking cool, man. There's this one where it has a Skeletor holding a handful of hops and he's just smelling them. I was like, yo, that just brought me back to my childhood right there. I'm like, Skeletor. I was like, hell yeah, I want that beer, dude. So
hey, send me the link to that, Bobby.
I'll do that for sure. But the one thing about these beers is to make sure that you guys drink them within 30 days because it's all about freshness with these cats.
What's the ABV?
6.0. Yes, 6.0, and it's smooth, yo.
Oh, I'm trying to do that 8. Okay.
Oh, trust me. They got hey,
Kane's got standards, man.
My boy picked up a 9.9 over there too. They also got the bottled stuff as well that they age in the rye bottles and all that, or in the rye barrels. Yeah.
That one right there. That one right there, Kane. Get on that one if you want that 8 point right there. This is the 8 point.
Ooh, that's it. That's what I gotta find that.
Kane, what are you sipping on tonight, man? Anything fine?
I'm sipping on some not 8 point, but some Lagunitas super clusters.
That's a good one.
It's nice, smooth, hoppy, kind of blonde ale. You know what I'm saying? I don't got a pour for y'all tonight, but it's pretty good. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing good. I'm feeling nice I'm feeling nice right now.
There you go.
Cool.
Shout out to my boy Dutch and Lagunitas.
Yeah, ain't not one single watermelon beer on this podcast ever to date. Never will be.
Those are facts. Facts.
We got a large show that we're getting into tonight. Again, a lot of information to drop on you guys. Another part of our deep dive series that we've been going on all off season. We've given you the entire schedule. We've given you every single draft pick. We've given you every single undrafted free agent. Tonight, we're going to be outlining and talking about the NFL's COVID-19 guidelines for reopening. So, you know, I know that sounds like a dry topic, and I know people have touched on it here and there. We're going to give you the full run through, and we're going to go into some historical data about other shortened seasons that have happened in the NFL and sort of compare and contrast those guidelines and the contingency plans, amended schedules, and all that to what we might be facing this year. I think right now, with everybody buying tickets and making plans, this is a good time to do that because there's some pertinent information you guys should know about, especially when it comes to ticket sales and refunds. So we're going to get into all that. But before we do so, hold on. Pillaging. Shout out to Irish Raider for the donation. He asked, did you guys get blocked by the Raiders account? P.S. Keep the rum in your mug and pillage on. We have not been blocked by the Raiders account as far as I have seen. No, we have not been blocked by the Raiders account.
Not me. Not yet.
We just tried to got blocked by those two parking attendants.
I ain't pissed off. Yeah, I ain't pissed them off yet. You know,
we get blocked by the Raiders in real life. You know.
Yeah, we don't mess around. Dog.
Those are facts. Those are facts. Yeah. They like to block us in person, bro. In person.
Yeah. Exactly. So no, we have not, but that's a good question. Mighty donation, 50 euros or whatever that symbol is. I just know that means that's a lot of money, dog. That's very generous. Very that's wild, man. That is crazy. Man. Thank you very much. So we'll get you something for that. Hit me up, Irish Raider. We'll figure something out.
Salute.
Before we get into all that, though, because it's going to be a long conversation, I got a bone to pick with y'all. I got a bone to pick, as Kendrick Lamar once said. We released the GROAT vote, and this was the final vote in our first of 4 brackets. And let's go over this, man. One thing shook out fairly predictable. Gene Upshaw took 99% of the vote against Mo Collins, which he should have got maybe 100% of that vote. I don't even want to go back in detail how Mo Collins ended up on this list, but he did. But that being said, I got no qualms with that. My problem is with you young bucks on Twitter who voted Rodney Hudson, who's a football genius in his own right. The dude's a mauler. I'm not taking away the greatness of Rodney Hudson. He will go down as one of the greatest Raiders to suit up. He will go down as probably a Hall of Famer for his career. So I understand that. I understand that this was going to be close. But how...
He is a GROAT. He is a GROAT.
He's on this list for a reason. But how he lost to 3-time Super Bowl champion Henry Lawrence eludes me. Now, I know Henry Lawrence ain't a sexy name. I walk around the parking lot. Not once have I ever seen a Henry Lawrence jersey. So I get all that. But you listen to the show. You follow the show. You vote when the show puts out a poll. You should already know who Henry Lawrence is. He's been talked about. If you haven't heard enough,
Google it.
You're about to find out more. You ain't got to Google it because we got the human Wikipedia himself, Raider Rue, to tell you all about it.
That's what I'm talking about. Bring him on. That's my boy.
So
historian.
Here's the
historian.
And he's younger than all of us.
Younger than all of us.
Shame on you.
If I'm giving this motherfucker props, then y'all need to give him props.
But then again, you know what?
I'm older than everybody on this fucking forum.
The elder statesman came.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
Rue. But then again, the reason why is because Rue took it upon himself. He wasn't just satisfied with just, starting his fandom at whatever date and then just going on from that and then just basing his whole history of fandom from that beginning time. He went back and he studied the whole thing. A lot of us studied this as well because we were watching those old NFL films, man. I remember going over to my boy's house, dude, and I was so pumped because he was the only cat I knew that had the NFL ticket. And we were able to watch all those old school games. And we were able to watch all those Super Bowls, man. And you were able to know about all those names, man. So it's awesome when somebody actually takes that task upon themselves because they want to learn more about their team, know about what their origins, man. And we have a very healthy and colorful origin stories, man.
And that's Rue. Rue,
and that's Rue. And you better believe Rue's
you the man.
too. So without further ado, let me call Rue, but I'm just going to say this right now. We're going to make this fair. What we're doing is Rue's going to present his argument for why Henry Lawrence should take this. The vote was close. It's a 4-point swing. It's the only reason why we're doing this. If Rodney Hudson had taken 60% of the vote, it would be Rodney Hudson and we'd be moving on. And let me just play devil's advocate. For those of you that voted for Rodney Hudson, I get it. I already stated all the facts. Rodney Hudson's great. He's maybe the smartest man in football right now. He's the greatest center in football right now.
Facts.
Well, I get that.
But the crew was torn. What? The crew was torn. This is why Rue is coming on. So y'all lucky.
Let's be real, Kane. We weren't torn. We know who it is.
I'm just trying to give him some. I'm just trying to give the fans some props, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying.
I get you. But we had decided. We had thought. Kane had suggested, "Hey, Kenny, make an executive decision here." I'm not going to do that. I'm going to let you do it for us. Rue's going to present his argument. Then I'm going to open the phone line to one other caller. So I'm going to open it up to the chat first. Let Rue speak. And if there's anybody in the chat right now that wants to call in and make a case for Rodney Hudson, you're going to get your chance to present your side of the story. If we don't get a call and Rue's call is strong, I'm swinging this to Henry Lawrence. I'm sorry. We're going to veto that vote. We warned you guys when this started. If it was close, we were going to do this. This is close. This is controversial. Rue's going to state his opinion. He's going to state some facts. He's going to bring the argument on that side. And then I'm going to open it up for the Rodney Hudson fans to bring it on their side. This will be interesting. I knew this was going to be close. I thought Lawrence was going to come out on top. He didn't. It's close regardless. So this is what we're going to do. So, Rue, I'm calling you right now. You're coming on the line. Let's see here. Let's make this connection. You feel me? Let's reach out and touch someone. Rue. Is this Raider Rue?
Hey, he sure is.
Hey, Raider Rue. Stapler. I don't know if you can hear, I don't know if you hear the rest of the crew. Can you hear the rest of the crew?
What's good, Rue?
What's up, Rue?
Yeah.
Hey, what's happening, fellas?
Hell yeah.
So, Rue, I know you're following along, and if you're not on the stream right now, let me just set the table for you. This is close. This is a 4-point swing between Rodney Hudson and Henry Lawrence. Hudson took 52% of the vote. Lawrence took 48%. I know Rodney Hudson's great. He's on this list for a reason. He was ranked 10. Lawrence was ranked 7. You're the resident historian right here. We're going to give that to you. You're an official pillager. So we called you. We need you to make a case for Henry Lawrence. And then I'm going to open the phone line to anybody that wants to come in here. One other person, okay, that wants to come in and argue for Hudson. And then our panel here will decide who won that argument. You know what I mean? So I'm going to step out of the way, Rue, and I want you to let it rip. Why is Lawrence deserving to move on to the second round in this tournament of greats?
All right. So there's nothing absolutely at all against Rodney Hudson. He's a badass center. One of my favorite players on the Raiders right now, and I say he's the best Raider today. So with that, though, he's played in, I want to say it's roughly 71-ish games for the Raiders. Henry Lawrence started like 176 or so for the Raiders. So he's got double the games started as a Raider, plus he was a reserve for the Raiders before that. On top of that, Henry Lawrence walks around with 3 Super Bowl championship rings. Now, his first one, he was a reserve because John Velo was a starting right tackle in 76. But after that, he was a starting right tackle on the other 2 Super Bowl championship rings, winning teams. And we know that those offensive lines were a huge reason for why those Raiders teams were able to win the Super Bowl. And right tackle, even then, was important. This man may not be looked at like it was today. It is today, but he held that down. And I got to go swing that way for a guy, my vote towards a guy who helped build championship teams with that line and those running games that we had to control those games. And as much as I love Hudson, the history of the team and what they did for the team matters. And as a Raider to this point, Henry Lawrence did more overall.
It's hard to argue against that, man.
I agree. You can't argue with that.
Hey, let me just add to this. 13 seasons with the Raiders. Okay. 13 seasons with the Raiders.
Man, Henry Lawrence is a well-known name. Like, dude, when that name showed up, even though his name was not sub whatever, where it's like, oh, this is a Charles Woodson or a Tim Brown. When that name showed up on my list, I was like, oh fuck, Henry Lawrence.
Yeah.
Easily. There wasn't even a question. It was like, oh, Henry Lawrence. Check. You know what I'm saying? So I'm with Rue. It was like one of those things, I guess you just gotta be from the old school. You youngsters
It's true. You do. But that's exactly why we had to do this, though. That's why we had to bring Brew on here to put his argument out there, because I know we already know a lot of cats don't know some of these, these cutty but very, very important players that existed in this franchise. 13 seasons, all played with the Raiders, bro. This guy didn't play for nobody else. If that's
like
not a
Dave
Raider,
Dalby.
hey, that's a Raider, bro. That's
like
a Raider.
Dave Dalby.
Played in
like
Oakland
players you
and
don't
LA,
know.
bro. That's
It's like players you don't know. Dave Dalby type guys.
Well, then again, too, you also have to remember. I mean, he's a lineman. A lot of cats don't consider that position a sexy, position or whatever. Everyone's looking at that, except for Che, yo. Che's all about that man boob.
You sexy.
No, but when we start talking about positions like this, I start thinking about those positions. I think about the position group. I don't think about the whole. I think about the group and what this player done in his position group, because each group has a star. You know what I'm saying? You have to have that in order to be a winner. And so when I look at a group, I look at this dude as when he played, he was a major part of his group. And therefore, he deserves, and he won 3, let's just say 2 Super Bowls, because the first one, he was a reserve. You know what I'm saying? So let's just say he won 2 Super Bowls as a starter. You have to look at that as opposed to Rodney Hudson, who's also a great player, player, and will probably go down as one of the greatest centers, probably next to Jim Otto, as one of the greatest centers in Raider history. He hasn't won a Super Bowl yet, though.
No, we need to rectify that. We need to rectify that. And just to detail you guys, for you guys, how we got here, on the PJ4F site, it was pretty close in the votes. It was pretty close with Henry Lawrence getting the majority of the votes. But on Twitter, 75% of y'all voted for Rodney Hudson. And that's really the deciding factor there. So, Rue, I want to thank you for being available, for calling in and giving us some historical facts here. I'm still looking for somebody to call in about Rodney Hudson. And right now, Pete, who's our resident youngster, our young brain in the Pillaging family, he said, I'd call in, but I can't form an argument against
There you go.
Hey, Pete, we thought we mentioned you as a call-in candidate, bro. We mentioned you as a call-in candidate, bro.
Lawrence got double the amount of starts as a Raider and 2 starting Super Bowl rings. It just speaks louder today.
Yeah. Anything you want to say before you get off the phone here, Rue?
I appreciate you guys having me. I don't know, you're going to listen to my call later, but I got an explanation why I wasn't available last week.
Hey, no problem. No problem. Well, we're going to put that call on, so don't even.
Yeah, come on, Rue. There's never a question if we're going to play your call, bro. Come on, dog. Come on.
Rue, you the man, bro.
I don't want to spoil it. It was
fun. We love you, Rue. It's all good, bro. It's all good.
I'm enjoying this little deal, the votes, and I'm going to write my little explanations on the one that I need to on Twitter every time and try to help these people out. Look back at the history, learn these players, man. It matters.
Yeah,
and if anybody ever needs a history lesson, hit up your boy Rue, because he will be more than happy to
holla
hook you
at
up.
Rue.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Hey,
that's from an OG.
Take care, Rue.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you soon, bro.
Yeah.
All right, guys. See you later.
All right, peace
out, Rue.
All right, so I'm gonna keep an eyeball on the chat, and if anybody has the guts to come on here and argue for Hudson, I mean, hey, it shouldn't be that hard. He won the vote, right? So somebody come with some facts as to why he should win the vote. See Watts Raider right now. Thank you very much. Pillaging. Thanks for the donation, Watts Raider. Maybe Watts Raider's the guy that wants to come on here and argue in Hudson's favor.
No, Watts knows his Raiders, bro. Watts knows his Raiders. He ain't about to get on here and argue for Hudson. He loves Hudson just like we do.
No, we need somebody like Mark's hair from PJ4L.
I don't think Watts needs you speaking for him, dog.
This is true. Watts, you know what?
Maybe Watts wants to come in here, just play devil's advocate, make it interesting. I'm just looking for somebody to argue the counterpoint on here, and you know, it doesn't even have to swing the vote. All you got to do, you're the incumbent, you won. All you got to do is come in here and hold the ground. But for right now, after that call with Rue and after that statement from Pete, I'm starting to lean towards Lawrence and switching this vote over. And some of the other comments in the chat, everyone's saying their vote goes for Lawrence too. So you're here right now. You showed up. Your voice mattered, and I'm willing to amplify that voice.
Yo, but real quick, Watts, I'm gonna crack a new chela for you for that donation, bro, because I'm all out of beer. Heretic, you can't handle the juice. You can't handle the juice. Okay, this is for you. This is for you, Watts, because you here every fucking week, bro. You're always in the chat, and
so
you just donated.
One last time, Watts, since you're watching right now, since you just jumped in, what we're arguing about is it was Rodney Hudson versus Henry Lawrence, 3-time Super Bowl winner, played 13 seasons for the Raiders, Oakland and Los Angeles. He won the vote, and we want to know why Hudson should remain the victor here. It was a close vote, so we're looking for a tiebreaker. Essentially, Aru just called in. He argued for his man, Henry Lawrence. The four of us feel like it's Henry Lawrence. I want to change this vote. I need someone to call in and tell me otherwise, or rather, I will call you. So, Watts, if you're down to argue the other side, if you're down to argue for Hudson, I see you making some favorable comments for Hudson. You saying that he's the best center he's ever seen on the Raiders. And before you get your panties in a twist, he says it's the best center he's ever seen. He wasn't around to watch Jim Otto play for the Raiders. So I understand that comment. I'm not mad at that, Watts. I get what you're saying. So if you want me to call you, just put it in the chat, call me, and I'm going to call you up. If not, I want to move forward into this COVID-19 business, and we're going to keep it moving, and we'll make a decision at the end of the show. So stay tuned in and find out where we get to. I'm going to keep an eyeball on the chat. So if you guys are afraid to call in too, just post some facts in the chat for Hudson. Man, I'm not really tripping. You can't handle the juice. What is that? Is that a sour? Is that a Goza?
This is a New England style double IPA.
How does that New England taste, man?
8.5 ABV, baby.
You about to be, can you make it?
Oh, who are you talking to, Kane, right now? Who are you talking to right now?
It's not me, Kane.
I know you ain't talking to me. This is delicious too, man. Shout out to Heretic. They make some good beers too, bro.
Yeah, they do. You do.
That look nice and hazy, bro. Yeah.
Watts has disappeared here from the chat. In the meantime, he might be pouring himself out a cold one too. Oh no, here he is.
Or maybe he's calling in, though.
He says he's eating ice cream right now, man. He's eating ice cream.
Nobody wants to take up that argument, dog.
There's he's like, hey, you know what? I ain't got nothing to say.
He said this Rocky Road's too good right now. I can't argue for Rodney Hudson right now. This Rocky Road's too good.
So that tells you right there, you motherfuckers voted wrong.
We'll let it
history.
We'll let it hang in the air for a minute while Watts savors that cone, and we'll see what he gets to. I hope that's regular ice cream. This ain't no soft serve podcast, y'all. This ain't no soft.
That shit better get stuck in the scoop, okay? It better get stuck in the scoop. You better try to dig that bitch out, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Do your fucking history before you make a vote. That's what I'm telling y'all. Do your history before you make a fucking vote.
Isn't this ironic? Many people were very salty about some of the people that made the list, and here we are salty about the way this vote shook out. But hey, it is what it is. Before we move on, I will give you a sneak peek into the brackets here as we move into the second round of bracket A, which we will get to after we finish the first round of the remaining three brackets. Lots of voting left, guys. So again, just to recap what we told you last week, it's going to be Jim Otto versus Steve Wisniewski, Dave Casper versus Art Show. That'll be a good one. Dave Dalby versus John Madden. Rodney Hudson versus Gene Upshaw as it stands right now. In bracket B, which we're going to be going over next week, the votes for next week are Al Davis versus Darrell Russell, which was a real life battle. That was a real life battle, and here it is happening again. And the matchup I'm excited about.
Did you do that on purpose?
Say Al Davis? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Really? How the fuck did that end up like that?
Al Davis ranked number 1 and Darryl Russell ranked 16. Thank you very much, Raider Rich, for the donation. Raider Talk with the homies. You know what it is.
Raider Rich.
Matchup I'm excited about for next week, and hold on to your seats, y'all, because this is going to be a good round 1 vote right here. This is maybe the best round 1 matchup we've had. Is number 8 ranked Chester McLaughlin versus number 9 ranked John Matuzak. People are going to get blocked on Twitter over this one.
Damn.
People are going to get blocked on this one. That's a heated debate.
Not really, but whatever. Okay.
Yeah, but wait a minute though, Kane. I don't know. A few months back, Kane, you were gung ho about Chester McLaughlin.
Hey, you know what? Now that I think about it, though, I remember Chester McLaughlin's years here, and I'm quite torn about Chester.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not even gonna make the voters tilt they look. I'm quite torn about Chester.
McLaughlin had a very long, very storied career with the Raiders. Yeah. But John Matuzak is the name that everybody recognizes. So right. I do expect an upset in this vote with the number 9 taking the number 8. But we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. And again, if you guys want to vote more than once, I'll give you a little Easter egg right here. If you go to pj4f.com, you can vote on the poll right there. So the poll will be linked underneath this podcast episode. So if you go to pj4f.com, the latest article you'll see on there likely will be this episode as of tomorrow morning, and the poll will be on there probably sometime tomorrow afternoon. And you can vote as many times as you want on pj4f.com. So if you want to rig the polls, if you want to stuff the ballot box, go to pj4f.com, vote more than once. And if you're brave, and only the very brave, enter the chat. I dare you. Twitter ain't shit compared to pj4f.com. I'll tell you that right now.
That's a whole different breed of mother scooters over there, Doug.
You'll be untying your panties for the rest of the afternoon in that chat. I'm telling you right now, feelings will be hurt.
You'll be untying them panties and filtering beers apparently, because that's Victoria's Secret.
Yeah, that's it. We'll be drinking that on next week's episode.
Hey, don't be scared. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Everybody treats you like family once you get your cap.
No, they do. Kane's right. When he says they treat you like family, they mean they're gonna make fun of you when you sit on the couch. That's what it means. They're gonna make fun of you all afternoon.
But that's how you know. They love you.
That's right.
Because if not, they wouldn't even talk to you.
The minute you walk in the door, they're talking shit to you. The minute you walk in the door, they talking shit to you.
Especially if you somebody new. Especially if you somebody new. Yeah, we love new blood. We love new blood. That's for sure.
Bobby's been through the ringer. He came out certified. He's doing fine over there now. Entering the Pillaging the PJ4F chat is the equivalent to hanging out at a party and somebody coming along and popping their beer on top of yours. You better get ready to chug. You better get ready to chug fast.
You better know how to chug, mother scooters. That's all I gotta say. Down that motherfucker.
As of right now, we got no takers on the Rodney Hudson debate, so we'll let that simmer. It's a long show, and we'll come back to that. But right now, we're feeling like Ruse made a pretty strong case to swing that 4 points. It's a close margin. So let's get into it. Tonight's show, we spent the last few weeks taking a deep look at this team, its new faces, the road that lies ahead, all of that. But with the crisis that is the COVID-19 pandemic, that road may have a few twists and turns ahead of itself. Tonight, we'll take a look at the guidelines and the protocols set forth by the NFL, and also take a look at the NFL's history of shortened seasons. So settle in, guys, and open up your textbooks to page 187. We're about to murder this shit. Check it out. Virtual insanity. That's the name of this segment right now. Who's got the Jamiroquai on lock right now? Shay, you got that virtual insanity queued up?
I think Chad still has the hat, bro.
Yo, I can't have that ready, bro. You gotta give me a heads up. You want that Jamiroquai, bro? Hey, bro.
I see Chain walking on the treadmill right now trying to recreate.
Virtual insanity. I got that fucking hat in my fucking garage, bro.
You got that coonskin cap, bro?
No, bro, that shit's that fucking Barney Rubble and fucking Fred Flintstone fucking hat, bro.
The Water Buffalo Society, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, dog.
Yeah. All right. Hey.
Either that or Khabib Nurmagomedov's fucking victory hat, bro. When he puts on that big fucking blonde fro.
So let's get into this, man. On April 20th, the NFL and NFLPA agreed on a virtual offseason program, which has already started. It's already been taking place. It started just a couple weeks ago. So per that agreement, teams are allowed 3 consecutive weeks of remote classroom instruction, workouts, but no on-field work allowed to take place until all states hosting NFL teams are allowed to reopen. And that's a rocky road. That's something we're going to get into more detail a little bit later on. Again, I'll restate that. You cannot take the field for practice until all states have lifted their bans and restrictions on social distancing, or at least ease back on them or moved into the second stage or what have you. We're going to do our best not to get into the politics of this, really just going to be talking about the guidelines as they relate to the NFL, because everyone's excited that the schedule just came out. And for a minute there, we all forgot that, there might be some red tape around this. So that's what we're going to talk about. The virtual program was scheduled to come to an end on May 15th, which is tomorrow. As of right now, it's 8:37 p.m. in the Crow's Nest on the West Coast. By the time you're listening to this, that might be today, May 15th, Monday. But that was recently extended actually to May 29th. So already we got a few bumps in the road and a couple amendments to this virtual insanity that is the NFL offseason program. I did say workouts. They are allowed to lead virtual workouts by means of the tablets that were provided by NFL teams. And also, I believe they were granted a stipend or granted a maximum amount of workout equipment they could send to players. And it was a small amount. I think it was like $1,500. But most of these cats probably got state-of-the-art workout gear in their homes already, whatever. They might be doing that Bowflex. You never know. You know what I'm saying? That Bowflex, that Tony Little Gazelle trainer.
They still using that Chuck Norris machine, bro.
That's what I was about to say, bro.
At the end of the day, they all got trainers.
Yeah, you do a push-up with your chin, bro.
Thing. Yeah,
working that Thigh Master.
And the receivers are still working with Derek Carr too.
They are, yeah. Working that shake weight. Working that shake weight real nice.
No, actually, we got film. They got film of Derek Carr working with some of the receivers with Zay Jones.
Oh shit! I thought you were about to say you have film of him working with a shake weight, bro.
Hey, what was that? Jesus is working somewhere working with a shake weight.
Tell me what you're working with.
Hey, that's one of my favorite white elephant gifts I've ever given, bro.
Shut the hell up, dog. Oh man, I can't believe I never thought of that, dog.
You got to give that to the big titty bitch in the office. That's the gift that keeps on giving right there. That's the gift that keeps on giving, bro.
Hey, Bobby, I'll invite you to the next family Christmas party, bro. Okay, you're invited, man.
Hell no, dog. I already know what you're gonna give me, dog.
Bro, that shake weight would tip Bobby over, bro.
Derek Carr is somewhere working with a shake weight.
Tell me what you're working with. Shout out to Mystical. Hey, shout out to Javi Diaz, man. Thanks for the donation. Make sure you put a comment in that donation, man. We'll shout you out real quick.
That's right.
But shout out to Javi Diaz, man. We appreciate that. Again, every dollar counts, guys. It takes money to keep this pirate ship on the water. We got expenses. We got rum barrels to fill. We got a lot of things going on. We appreciate you, man. We appreciate the generosity quite a bit.
Yeah.
So now that we've talked about shake weights and virtual insanity, it's time to come back from the 90s and talk about what the Raiders have actually been up to. So I'm going to give credit where credit's due. Jay's still tripping on that Thigh Master throwback. That's Suzanne Summer. That step by step.
Step by step. Day by day.
No, this motherfucker said Bowflex.
Bowflex still in the game, dog.
He said Bowflex. Hey, they had Brett Favre on a Bowflex commercial.
Rocking that copper fit, bro. That copper fit.
Him and Jerry Rice.
I have those socks. I have those socks, bro.
Why fucking him and Jerry Rice got them goddamn fucking waist belts, them back supports for that you see from fucking guys working in the warehouse at a grocery store though.
Hey, why Jerry Rice cornrows start behind his ears, man? It's time to put that up.
Hey, I bet you Derek Carr got a motherfucking one of them motherfucking back things and the arm thing. You know what I'm saying? Because Brett Favre was his motherfucking idol. You know what I'm saying? So he probably support that shit all the way. You know what I mean?
Jerry Rice got that Dr. Phil hairline, still rocking them cornrows though off the side though.
Shit. Jerry Rice hairline start back here.
Shout out to Irish Raider. Irish Raider wants to know what our guys' take was on the owners' vote this week. I'm actually out of the loop on that, on what the owners voted on. So do you guys know anything about that? You guys want to weigh on that? Kane, Che, Bobby, the owners' vote that happened this week?
Honestly, I don't know what
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Nah. Is it something to do with the COVID?
I know what you're talking about. This is a controversial subject. So the NFL owners voted on a proposal to reward minority hires with improved draft picks.
Right. The of the Rooney rules. So I don't believe they voted on that yet. They will vote on it. They're scheduled to vote on it. I don't know that that's gone through. I could be wrong, but I don't think that's gone through yet. We'll weigh in on it when the decision comes down. But if you guys want to give your opinions right now, I have an opinion on it. It is controversial. Basically, I may have this wrong, but from what I understand loosely is the Rooney rule, as you guys know, is all teams are required to interview one minority for open positions when it comes to GM and head coaching positions. Head coaches for sure. I don't know if that's an effect for GM positions. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure on that. But what this would do was it improve your draft position or give you an additional draft pick if you were to hire a minority person of color for head coach or general manager. What do you guys feel about that? Do you feel like that's necessary, or do you feel like this shouldn't have to happen? Because that's how I feel. It shouldn't have to happen, but I don't know how I feel about it.
I agree with that. It shouldn't have to happen.
Yeah.
No,
it shouldn't.
Hey, but first of all, it's a third rounder. Okay, so it could upgrade your support. This is what's proposed, right? It could upgrade to a third rounder. So if you didn't have a fucking third rounder, right, and you decided to hire a minority HC or GM, you're gonna get a fucking third round pick. I mean, you're right, Kenny. Like, it shouldn't have to happen. We shouldn't have any reasons to motivate motherfuckers to interview and hire minorities as head coaches and GMs.
Yep.
Right. But that being said, if motherfuckers are refusing to do that, right? And I'm pretty sure there's some good quality franchises out there that are doing that. Not ours, okay? Not ours, because we set the standard in that, okay?
Yeah.
Then I think it might actually be a good point. I'm not completely for it, but I'm not completely against it. I say anything that gets people more equity, more equality and equity, should be done, right? Now, you're gonna have maybe shit shifts completely lopsided, right, and goes completely the opposite way, and that's not necessarily what you want either. You want this shit to level out the playing field, and I'm hopeful that if it does pass, that's exactly what it does. But I don't know. It seems more complicated than that, right? I don't know. That to me, it just feels like it's more complicated than that, and something this simplified doesn't necessarily solve the issue. But I'm hopeful that if it does pass, that you got motherfuckers really doing what they should be doing and giving everybody a fucking opportunity, man.
Really quick, because I just want to get out of the way. I have two things real quick to say. Number one, I don't have an opinion on this because I got no business participating in this discussion. I'm a white man. I'm not going to say nothing about this. I got no background on this. I got no context. And I'm just checking my privilege. I'm doing
but you're a minority at heart, bro. Okay, you're a minority.
Yeah, you ain't no white dude. Come on, bro.
Number two, shout out to us for being the most diverse podcast in Raider Nation. I'm just saying, look at the panel right here.
Right here.
You know what I mean?
We
got a darker Mexican and we got a brother on the panel. So, hey, I'm just saying we got all types.
God.
You know, we got all types. So you know what I mean? But
go.
You know, number three, Mike Epps has been the head coach of the Steelers for 13 years. Mike Epps is holding it down.
Oh my God!
I'm gonna get canceled.
Shout out Mike Epps.
Hey, you may not get blocked by the Raiders, but we're gonna get blocked by the Steelers. Right?
All I gotta say is I've never seen Mike Tomlin and Mike Epps in the same room at the same time ever. Not one. Okay, not one.
That's a conspiracy right there, bro.
That's my motherfucking
Alex Jones, bro.
Right there. That's goddamn.
So,
it.
Kane, how do you feel about this, man? This is up for a vote.
Well, I feel like this. I feel like the whole shit should be equal first, right? I feel like I don't want to be given nothing by a vote. I think I want to earn my position because I earned it. Not because y'all said, oh, we got to give black people. But with that being said, you're not being equal. Mm-hmm. Ownership, you're not being equal. So there has to be some kind of void that's being filled. You understand? Because you're not being equal. So with that being said, no, I don't want y'all to give me shit because I was a black motherfucker and you had to hire me because I'm black. Hire me because I'm qualified. Just as one of these white motherfuckers that y'all hire. You understand me? That's what I mean. I don't need you to say, oh, I had to hire him because I don't need that. I'm matter of fact, I'm better than that. Fuck you, I'm better than that. So my thing is nah, we don't need y'all to have to interview us because we don't get interviewed equally. No, be equal as an owner and just interview us because you think we qualified. You understand what I'm saying? And if you can't do that, now with that being said, if you can't do that, then you have to bring the cattle to the trough. And so you have to say, okay, y'all ain't interviewing none of us because you won't. So you have to now. So bring me, or let's just say I'm the next qualified offensive coordinator to be a head coach. Bring me in because somebody said, no, listen to this guy. Then you listen to me and you listen to somebody of my equal who is not my color. And you say, wow, this guy sounded better than his equal who was not of his same color. You understand? So I'm going to hire him because he was qualified. But the Rooney Rule brought him here. Without that, I would not have interviewed this guy. So we need the owners to look at us as equals. And until you do, the Rooney Rule is the only way for us to be equal. Because without that rule, you won't make us equal, which is fucked up. That's how I look at it. So we need that rule. I'm a black man. We need that rule because we won't get it without it. You understand what I'm saying, fellas? We won't get it without it, but we deserve it without it.
You do. Absolutely. And the slippery slope here is if this passes and you start to see more of an influx of people of color in those positions, it's going to come with the stigma of you were only hired because they wanted that extra draft pick. And that's the dangerous part of it. That's all I got to say
Fuck
about
a draft
that.
pick. I'm better than a draft pick. Motherfucker,
Exactly.
if you hire me as a head coach, you think I can win you a Super Bowl. I'm better than a draft pick. I am a Super Bowl. You thought I could win you a Super Bowl. This is why you hired me. You look, if I'm an owner, I don't hire you if I don't think you can win me a Super Bowl. I don't hire you unless I think you can further my victorious state. You understand what I'm saying? And so if you hire me, then you're hiring me to win a Super Bowl, unless you're hiring me to bridge the gap to another coach.
Right.
This
and
is
get that
type of shit that
draft,
happens.
And get that draft pick in the meantime.
That draft pick.
You're going to see that start to go along with teams that are tanking. Oh, let's bring in a black coach, get that extra draft pick, and let's tank and move up our stock. So it's all bad. It's too much gray area there. It'll be interesting to see how this goes. Quinn makes a good point in the chat. He said it's not meant to pass. It's just a proposal designed as a showpiece. That the NFL is thinking, quote unquote, thinking about disparity. So that's it too. It's something designed to make headlines, of which it is already. And I gotta state a retraction. I meant Omar Epps, not Mike Epps. But shout out to Mike Epps too. I got my Epps confused, but the bottom line is Epstein didn't kill himself, and that's all you need to know.
Oh, shut up. Shut up, man.
Damn.
Shut up.
hey, bro, this is like a really longer conversation.
It is.
Absolutely. It is. It's a deep
I have
bro.
so much more to elaborate on this conversation.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much more to expand on. Like, I haven't even got to the beginning of what I was trying to say. You're asking me to answer a question that really can't be answered for Black people in NFL. You it's bigger than that, bro.
It is bigger than that, bro. It's not just the NFL, it's everywhere. So that's absolutely, man.
It's
dog.
cool that Quinn also brought up that point as well, because that's also one thing that brought up to my mind is that the whole cap thing. And it's funny that he says that, because I kind of did think about that as well. It's like, what if all this is just a giant thing to just distract everybody from us, like not wanting to give Cap a chance, really, to basically do all this. And we're going to go ahead and try to present this whole idea of, hey, look, we're showing equality by, incentivizing all this and that.
But they haven't. Cap is better than probably 50% of the backup quarterbacks in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that because I'm Black. Because I'm a Black man, I'm going to say that.
How about this?
He's better than 50% of the backup quarterbacks in the NFL right now. And you won't even give this man a shot.
How about
because
this?
Because he need for political purposes, for police violence against Black people. Like, this is so much more bigger. And I don't, this was something we shouldn't even start talking about, man. But whatever. Let's go ahead.
How about this? Fuck a head coach. Fuck a GM. Let's incentivize owners to vote for a Black commissioner. How about that?
Or you know what? It should be, because you know what? The NFL is what, 75% Black people
at least,
anyway.
At least.
You know what I'm saying? So why shouldn't it be? The NFLPA is run by a Black man.
Yeah.
So why shouldn't we have somebody that understands the plight that could come in here and run the NFL? Because Goodell doesn't.
Shout out to my white cornerbacks, though. Shout out to my white corners and my white safeties and my white
Hey, but you know what, though? Marijuana.
Keep the dream alive. Keep the dream alive.
Marijuana should be legal in the NFL. Like, this whole NFL thing is so, like, beautiful to the point where it's so pretty it can't be scraped. You know what I'm saying? When it's not, it shouldn't be that way. It can be scraped. Like, you have flaws. You understand? You have flaws, and you need to address those flaws. Marijuana being one. Players testing positive for marijuana, you abandon them for testing positive for something that's not even harming the average American. You know, that's being used as a medication. You know, you are not that good. You know, you're white. You're being white. I'm sorry, my brother Kenny. I don't mean to sound like that.
He's not white, saying, bro. That's just his outer layer, okay?
I'm saying the NFL is being over white when you have black players that support your fucking cause. You understand what I'm saying? So you need to be more black prone, or more ethnic prone, or more how can I say, more everybody. We're not just white, we're everybody. And so we have to think about the whole community.
Well, I'm sensitive about a lot. Even as a white man, I took umbrage with the fact that the NFL planned to transport rookies on a boat to the podium this year. I thought that was a little bit questionable too, but there's too much symbolism in that. Before we get any further, shout out to Javi for the donation. Javi, thank you for saying pillaging, keeping the ship going. Kenny, you're a minority at heart. I appreciate that. Che, keep them brews flowing. Brothers are formed in the trenches. Keep fighting the good fight, Raider Nation. Yeah, I agree with you. You know, brotherhood is formed in the trenches, and that's where we're at right now. All four of us, all of you guys out there, we're in the trenches right now. There's a lot of things. So organize your thoughts on that, Kane. We're going to talk about this more after the vote goes through. Whenever that happens to be, I got to read up on that a little bit more. I was more focused on these guidelines that we're about to get into, but this is going to come back on the show. No need to apologize. We wanted to hear your thoughts right now, and we want to hear your thoughts after this passes or doesn't pass. We'll circle back to this because Irish Raider, I'm glad you brought up the question. I'm a little bit embarrassed that this not in our draft, this outline for this week, but it will be. So let's see what happens after this vote, and this deserves more time. As Kane says, this is a very long, complicated conversation. We will come back to it. Che, you want to get in there for one more comment?
One more comment, bro, because I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it was about that, but there's also another thing that came up that they want the owners to vote on, and that is whether or not the Rams can borrow $500 million more for their stadium. Fuck out of here, Rams. Oh, fuck out of here, Rams. That's all I gotta say about that. Fuck out of here, bro.
Hell no, y'all wouldn't give the Raiders nothing. Fuck y'all. We lost our team.
Hold on.
We lost our fucking team. Fuck y'all. You can't get shit.
Hold on, guys. Because we're getting ahead of ourselves. We are talking about that tonight. After we got so much to get into, guys. We haven't even begun yet. Let's go. But I'm glad you brought that up, Che. Because I got a lot to say about that too.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I know you do. I know you do.
Your stadium's shaped like a mankini, but we'll talk about that later.
Well, I got a lot to say about that. Some motherfuckers asking for some more money, and we couldn't even get a stadium in Oakland. Fuck you. Fuck the Rams.
Hold your thoughts, because we're gonna get into that. Don't make me start muting you guys. Don't make me start hitting that mute button on y'all. Let's get into this. Bro. Let's set the table. By the way, shit, I can't even move forward. Also says, shout out to Kane, looking real fresh in that jersey. Pillaging guys, keep up the good work. We're about to do just that, Lepla. So Jerry McDonald of the Mercury News Group, still putting out great content, been putting out great content for a long time. He penned an article this week detailing what the virtual sessions look like for the Las Vegas Raiders. And John Gruden had an interview this week too, talking a little bit about that. But Jerry basically detailed it. He says players attend full team sessions from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. After those full team sessions, they move on to smaller meetings. Those full team sessions on Zoom got to be a logistical nightmare. You're talking about like 100 people in one Zoom session. The technology involved in that presents a lot of issues. So if you feel like, hey, at least you're still getting the same knowledge, the same interaction, the same stuff, I would say that they're not. And we're going to discuss that here in a minute. Meetings are conducted on tablets. They're stock full of video breakdowns. Players are subject to pop quizzes, just as they would in team sessions and interactive sessions where players are allowed to ask questions. So all of that is going on as we speak. Rookies did have a short virtual mini camp May 1st to May 3rd before they were allowed to join the rest of the squad. They also attended a media training program, all done virtually, all done remotely. Normally at this point, the team would be taking the field in personnel groups. They'd be going through drills. They'd be going through walkthroughs and whatnot. They would not be facing off against other personnel groups. They would not be allowed to take part in padded practices. So it is different than the normal program slightly. And there's a big difference here. Again, we're going to talk about that in a second. The Raiders organized team activity practice sessions were scheduled for the weeks of May 26th, June 2nd, and June 9th. The first one will be virtual. As we said, these virtual sessions were extended through the end of the month of May. The other two right now are up in the air, but they could very likely also be virtual. That would be a big blow. We're talking about June 9th. That's getting really close to preseason games at that point. What is the likelihood, Jerry asked, what's the likelihood of the Raiders being able to have their training camp in Napa in late July as scheduled? I want to know before I give the answer that's here. Actually, let me give the answer and then we'll open this up. What's the likelihood of the Raiders being able to have their training camp in Napa in late July as scheduled? As of right now, the Napa Valley Marriott, which has housed the Raiders since 1996, is closed. A rep said the tentative plan is for the hotel to reopen on June 1st, and that they're hopeful the Raiders will be there as planned in July. Now, a lot of that is also open to or subject to Napa County, the Northern California health official approving all that, moving into stage 2 and stage 3 as it is. But in your gut, guys, and we'll start with Kane, what's the likelihood of this happening in late July as scheduled? What do you think's going to happen?
I don't think so. I think without me getting too political on this, I don't think so. I don't think the Raiders will be holding training camp. I think this state is dedicated to social distancing until there's a vaccine. That's my answer.
Yeah. That's going to be a long wait. And that's going to have some serious ramifications on the schedule. And we'll talk about how it pertains to the schedule here in a little bit. Bobby, we haven't heard from you in a minute. What's your gut feeling on this? Are we going to see the Raiders training in Napa? Mark Davis said he would give us Napa training camp, and that would keep, the Raiders in California in one shape or form. But what's your gut feeling? Are we going to see the Raiders in Napa this year?
I mean, I did say it last week, dog. I didn't expect us to start the season till at least, week 9 or 10. And it sucks to say that because in full honesty, I didn't think we're going to have a season at all. And I was just saying that trying to be as optimistic as possible. But at the same time, one thing that we have to keep in mind is what they call the Stockdale paradox. It's basically a balance of optimism with realism. And in reality, I've been hearing a lot of people with just nothing but optimism. It's good to be positive. It's good to keep that positive mentality. But at the same time, are you doing yourself a disservice by lying to yourself? And we have to think of contingency plans for that contingency plan. We got to have, at least 5 contingency plans for that contingency plan. And it's the way it's looking like it.
Another contingency plan.
Exactly, man. And exactly like
so at the end of the day, there's not going to be any football in California.
Honestly, not till next year, bro. That's the way I see it, because exactly what you said, Kane. Because we ain't got no vaccine. We ain't got no way to, hey, you sick? Nah, hold on. Let me give you this shot. Boom. Now you're good to go. Because one thing I was reading about, and I think it was in Sports Illustrated, that they mentioned is, what if one of the linemen gets sick? What if that lineman gets sick and all of a sudden
whole offensive line is sick?
And then all of a sudden now your team has to rely on the second string, on the third stringers, because all of a sudden the second stringers were too close to the first stringers. Now you got to rely on these third stringers, these camp bodies, these cats that normally aren't supposed to be out there. So it's I honestly don't see it happening, dog. And it sucks. It hurts to say that, because I want football, but at the same time, we all have to be safe for each other. We have to keep each other safe and keep each other in mind, because just because we want football doesn't mean we should go away and piss away all this PPE on.
No, you're right. Football might happen in the red state.
And
football might
piss
happen
away
in
all
the
that
red
pee-pee,
state.
bro.
But football
away all that
will be
pee-pee.
commenced in the
Kane's
blue
point,
states.
hold on, guys.
It's all political. It's
To
all
Kane's
political.
point, like you said, you get an O lineman sick, your whole offensive line is sick, and not only that, the guys they're bumping taco meat with, the defensive line, they're getting sick as well. And Austin Lepla, thanks for the donation. He says you also have the challenge of getting every player to agree to show up and want to risk the health of themselves and their family's health as well.
Well, that wouldn't be the case because they would be isolated and put in hotels of their own. They wouldn't be able to go home for 15 weeks. And that's also a
sacrifice, right? And that's also a sacrifice.
But look at it like this, bro. You're talking about housing cats that are like in their 20s, early 30s, bro. How many of us in our 20s and 30s would honestly want to stay put and not go out and party and go out? I mean, dog, we're talking about cats.
$1 million, I'm gonna stay sheltered in place,
bro. Dude, there's cats making $1 million right now, getting arrested for DWIs, possession, carrying a weapon, all this and that, stealing shit. Bro, these guys are making cash. What the fuck are they doing out there doing all this crazy shit? Stay home. You got a bowling alley, you got a pool table, you got a foosball table, you got a pool, bro. You got a lot more shit than other people do, bro. We think about this. If this happened 20, 30 years ago when we was kids, there was no Netflix. There was nothing like that, bro. You just stayed at home and you dealt with your sanity. So that's why I don't see what some of these people's complaints is about, dude. It's like, dude, just chill the F out and just, go with the flow. Let's try to see what happens. Is what's best for everybody, not what's best.
Major fucking facts, Bobby.
Hey, when we were kids,
that's some Mexican ass shit right there. That's
some real fucking talk. That's from the bottom of my heart, Bobby. Well fucking said, kids, my brother. When you got bored, you ripped the rubber grip off your Atari joystick. That's what you did when you got bored. Hey, my thoughts on this, my gut
beefy.
I didn't even read into it like that. So you just
hey, it was the 80s, bro. We were bored a lot.
we all grew up in the 80s, man. Come on. You know
what's my gut feeling on this, and really just to piggyback again on Kane's point that there won't be football in California this year. There will never be football in California ever again, because what you got is the Niners, the Chargers, and the Rams. And in my opinion, that doesn't count as football. So sorry guys.
This is true. We don't count them. That's true.
Facts.
We don't count them.
Facts. That's what I said today. I was talking to I was like, fuck, we're in Nevada now, so fuck California. You know what I'm saying? I kind of said that though. Yeah.
The likely option here, and this is also, I think this even gets extra messy, but the likely option here, is that the Raiders are going to move to their new training facility in Henderson, Nevada, which could very well happen. And Nevada hasn't opened up yet, and this is where it gets messy. Nevada opens up, Las Vegas opens up, those casinos open up. It's not the locals you have to worry about. People from all over the world descend on Vegas the moment that place opens up.
But and the governor is with the 6th state plan. The governor is with the 6th West Coast state plan.
The governor is
that won't happen.
But the mayor of Nevada is making all kinds of noise going in the opposite direction.
But everybody is like, she's stupid.
I know. It's just a crazy situation down there right now. In Nevada. So shout out to Jerry McDonald for providing the update via the Merc. I want to give credit where credit's due. We do pull out a lot of information from different articles. Jerry McDonald's an OG.
Shout out to Jerry McDonald. We met you at the barbecue, baby. Me and Kenny both. We shook your hand, baby. Don't forget us. Yeah.
Jerry's a lot shorter in person. I will say that.
That's right. And fatter.
He's a shiny little red chunky dude with the chip on his shoulder. But you know what? Jerry's been covering the Raiders for years. He does an excellent job of it. Also, he's a Raiders fan, man. He doesn't really always shine through in his articles. Sometimes it does, but I will let you know, Jerry McDonald, he's a Raiders fan, riding for the Raiders.
Die hard Raiders fan.
He's been covering the team since he had hair. So that's
more so than Steve Cochran. Steve Cochran is an angry Raiders fan.
Yeah, he is. Steve Cochran is a Chicago Bears fan.
Oh.
The NFL is asking that teams have these following protocols in place and ready to go by May 15th, which is, again, tomorrow. It is currently 9:10 p.m. in the Crow's Nest, and there is no breeze, but it is not hot. Just a quick weather update, 303 shout out. Number one guideline, local and state government officials must consent to reopening. And that goes pretty deep. We talked about this before we got on air without getting into the politics of whether or not we agree or disagree with this. It starts with the governor. Governor Newsom has agreed to move California into stage 2. Then it trickles down to the health officials. Health officials reside over clusters of counties. We have one health official here in the North Bay that is residing over the 5 main Bay Area counties and some of the rural counties as well. They have allowed Alameda County to open up. Santa Clara County, where I reside, has not been allowed to open up. So it's everyone's on a different pace. Number 2, the team must implement all operational guidelines set by the league to minimize the risk of virus transmission among employees. Those guidelines run very deep. We're not going to get into every single one of them. Number 3, each club must acquire adequate amounts of needed supplies as prescribed by the league. Here's what I'll say to that. Testing is very limited right now in this county where I'm at. PPE is hard to get a hold of. I was doing a meal distribution on Friday. I had 10 people on my crew, and they provided us with 10 pairs of gloves and 10 masks. We were out there in the sun. We were sweating through those masks. They're supposed to last 8 hours. I don't know. We were out there for 4 hours. My mask was nearly see-through, and that's not a dig on the city or the county or anything. They provided what they could. They did the best they could. Those gloves, we're out there. I was breaking down cardboard boxes and stuff in the heat. I got big hands. I ripped through that glove in about 15 minutes. And then I was scrounging through the cafeteria and trying to pilfer gloves from the school. The school was not happy about that. Look, this PPE is in short supply. Testing is in short supply. If you count the players by themselves, you're looking at about 1,700 people. 1,700 people. And that's the final 53 rosters. We got about 95 guys on the roster right now. So when counties, states, municipalities can't even get those supplies to their people, when hospitals can't even get those. My lady works in a hospital. You know, when you go to the hospital, visit a sick relative, they got masks that you can pull off the wall and put on when you go visit your relatives. They had to pull all those off the floor just to furnish their staff with masks. My lady worked for 2 weeks without a mask. I wasn't allowed to see her. Good news is I got to see her this weekend. It was the first time in 8 weeks that I got to see my girlfriend. Number 4, an infection response team with a written plan for newly diagnosed coronavirus cases, an infection control officer to oversee all aspects of the implementation of these listed guidelines. Who are these people? How are they getting hired? Who's vetting them? Again, that's a lot of folks. There's a lot of personnel in the league to go through. And again, how are you going to justify giving 1,700 plus, and I'm really looking at more like 4,000 at this stage of the season or more? How are you going to justify giving them 2 tests a week when we can't even test all the people in our counties? How are you going to do that just to play a football game? You know what I'm saying? Just to play a game. Number 5, each employee who returns to work at the club facility must receive COVID-19 safety and hygiene training prior to using the facility and agree to report health information to the ICO. That's probably the easiest guideline on this list, to be honest. I'm a city employee. Every time I enter a building, I got to go through a testing protocol. I got to have my temperature taken. I got to answer a survey every time I go in and out of these facilities, and I'm glad to do it. Happy to do it. The response team must consist of a local physician with expertise in common infectious disease principles. The team physician can fill that role. Also, on the response team will be the infection control officer, the team's head athletic trainer, the team physician, if he or she is not serving as the local physician, the human resources director, the team's chief of security, its mental health clinician, or someone with equivalent clinical expertise, and a member of the club's operations staff, such as the facility manager. Here's my little take on that, and I'm going to open this up to all of you guys right now, and this is kind of controversial. You have a lot of money on the line right now. You got billions of dollars on the line right now, and you got people in place that are going to act as basically the filter of who gets in, who gets out. There's a lot of pressure riding on those people. You know, I don't know who's breathing down their necks. You got guys like Jerry Jones overseeing these things. people that have a lot of money on the line. Look at NFL owners as investors. The pressure is to pass people through.
All that shit don't matter.
You know what I mean?
You
It
can
doesn't
say
matter.
you can say everything you want to say about money and this and that, but what it all boils down to is the county mayors and the governors of each state. If, like you said, the governor has said we can, you can do, okay, as a county, you can open up how you feel. But as a sports, they put all this different shit on the different thing. There's so many different rules or regulations to how you run shit per county, per state, per the area that you're in. The governor has said this, but then he said that. So you said each county can do how you want, but you can't play sports in this state. So what we're here today is to talk about sports being played in the state of California, where we live at, or the state of Nevada, where the team that we support lives at. And, at this point, there will be no sports in the state of California in 2020. I honestly think that. And I don't see the governor putting all these people at risk of spreading the virus more than it already has been spread in this state. So yeah, the Raiders play in Nevada, but we live in California. So we're talking about California. So yes, the teams in this state won't even play football. So with that being said, we read an article today that said the NFL will go by every state. So if every state can't come back to their facility and organize and play team sports together, then no state, no team will.
And we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there.
I'm sorry, bro. No, I didn't mean to get ahead of it.
No, it's all good. It needs to be said. Shay, you didn't get to weigh in on the last thing. So what's your feeling on this? These guidelines are strict. There's a lot of hurdles to jump over. Do you see us clearing these hurdles by tomorrow morning? Is that going to happen? May 15th.
No.
Is that going to happen?
Absolutely not. But listen, I think you got to think of it like this. Their goal is to really open up prior to when they start, their camps going into preseason, right? I think that's the real goal, right? We got the mini camps, the volunteer camps, all that kind of stuff. I feel like that was all hopeful. They were hopeful that they can do something like that at some point, but it's all going to be virtual, man. Everybody's going to be doing that shit virtual. Because of the things that Kane touched on, is like, if all 32 teams can't do it, then no one gets to do it, right? So right now we got partial openings to certain fucking locations, right? So the players ain't in there, okay? That's just regular fucking staff, like regular people that go in and work in the buildings and do what they got to do. The only players that are allowed to go into these facilities right now are players that are currently rehabbing, okay? So the only players that are allowed to go into these partially open facilities are players that were already rehabbing and need and are seeking additional medical attention and rehabilitation. So coaches,
and then those strength and conditioning coaches
players that
can't come back either.
Yeah. So this is a good segue.
Strength and conditioning coaches, the strength and conditioning coaches are not allowed unless they are involved in the rehab. Right. So that's
unless
the key,
they're
right?
involved in the rehab.
So
just to wrap up what I was saying, I don't see it happening tomorrow. I don't see it happening a week from now, and we'll be lucky, I think, if it happens in June, but I think that's where things start to get a little hazy, a little crazy, right?
Like, you'll see in mid-June.
Because listen, one of the things that Kane was touching on is, so we're talking about team doctors can fill in these roles, right? You mentioned you can have your own team doctor fill in these roles. You can have your own team this and that fill in these roles. Well, all those motherfuckers collect paychecks, and we all know money rules the world. So when the paycheck is on the line and the team's telling you, we need this shit to go through so we can fucking play a season, that's where shit starts to get a little hazy, because come on, man. I played high school football, and our trainer wasn't always on the up and up, and I don't, no hate on him, but he never fucking told us to go see a doctor.
Rub
Let
some
me just
dirt
say
on
that.
it.
Yeah.
Bro,
bro.
I sprained my ankle at practice, and they told me to walk home. And then when I came back to playing the game on Friday, they didn't say nothing to me. They didn't send me no doctor. They wrapped my ankle up and sent me out on the field, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you. I get it.
My trainer would tell us, he would say, ice is nice, ice is your friend. That was the saying. You walk in there, you say, yo, my shoulder hurts, coach. He's like, ice is nice, ice is your friend. Go get some ice. And you just put some fucking ice on it. And guess what? I didn't miss a fucking week of fucking football, okay? It didn't matter what was wrong with me. And I had more bandages and tape than the rest of the fucking team combined. I look like a fucking mummy, okay? But you play ball because guess what? That guy that is your trainer that's supposed to be looking after your attention is looking for the coaching.
Winning they want to win.
They want to make sure you play, bro. They
taped my ankle up and sent me right out there to play football.
That's it.
Bro.
And if that's what they do in high school,
this was high school.
Where nobody's making millions of dollars in high school. We're all just playing because we love fucking football. You go to the NFL now. Everyone's making millions and millions of dollars, and you're getting paid to play. They're gonna want you out there even more. So they're going to find a way to make your ass play.
And it's even closer than that, Shay. You win that CCS championship, your school receives a stipend. So there is money on the line.
No, I know that.
I kind of tap danced around the point. Shay hit it right on the head. You know, cash rules everything around me. I grew up on the crime side, New York Times side, right?
Get the money.
But you know what? But in this situation, money ain't gonna rule everything around you, because the players have a say-so in this. The NFLPA has a say-so in this. So money ain't gonna rule everything around this decision, because the players can ultimately decide whether we want to fucking play or not. You know what I'm saying? So it's up to the players.
It'll be interesting to see. You know, I haven't looked into the guidelines for payment if this season does get canceled or does get suspended. You know, they're not playing because they can't, because of injury. They're not playing because the guidelines set forth by the commissioner. So will they still get paid? I don't know. I got to do some research on that. But on Friday, Goodell released an updated memorandum that was sent out to all ball clubs. It reads like this, and I'll read some of it. This will follow up on my recent memoranda outlining a phased approach for reopening club facilities. On May 6th, we provided all clubs with a set of protocols, which I just read, as explained in that memo, and in his memo, May 13th. Their goal is to reopen facilities safely and in a way that is consistent with medical and public health guidelines, as reflected in the protocols, is permitted by current government regulations, and respects principles of competitive equity. I respect all that. Clubs may reopen their facilities beginning on May 19th if they are permitted to do so under governing state and local regulations, are in compliance with any additional public health requirements in their jurisdictions, and have implemented the protocols that were developed by Dr. Sills and distributed all clubs on May 6th. As of right now, I don't know that all clubs or any club meets those guidelines. Clubs unable to meet these criteria on May 19th may reopen their facilities on the earliest date thereafter on which they are able to meet the criteria. During this first phase of reopening and until further notice, the following provisions will be in place. And these are the updates. This is what we are kind of talking about right now. Clubs may have no more than 50% of staff in the facility, not to exceed 75 persons. This is a total for all club locations.
Meaning multiple locations.
I'm getting there. If a club wishes to deploy staff to more than one location, all locations will be expected to implement the same health and safety protocols, but the combined number of employees at all locations may not exceed 75. And that's a very important point. And that was good that Goodell put that in there. He eliminated any loopholes where, it's 50% at this facility, 50% at that facility.
No, if you got 10 buildings, you can have 7 people at each building.
Maximum. 75 maximum across all buildings. I don't care if you have 75 buildings, you have one person in each building. And that's an important thing that they built into these. Number 2, no members of the coaching staff may return to the facility, period. This is important to ensure equity amongst all 32 clubs. Clubs may otherwise decide which employees may return to the facility, which may include members of the personnel, football operations or football administration staff, equipment staff, medical staff, and nutritionists. So basically, no strategists are allowed in the building at all.
Bro, how do you have football in California?
Yeah, you can't. Or New York or New Jersey. If the strength and conditioning coach is currently participating in player rehabilitation, he may continue to work in the facility. That's fair. Otherwise, the strength and conditioning coach may not return until the rest of the coaching staff is allowed to return. So just to paraphrase that, if you are going through rehab, you may be allowed to return as an athlete, and only under those conditions are the strength and conditioning people allowed to return as well to monitor and conduct those rehab assignments. No players may be in the facility other than those currently undergoing medical treatment or rehab, as just stated. Retail and other customer-facing activities are not authorized to reopen in this first phase. So if you have a gift shop or a fan store at your facility, that remains closed. Clubs may promptly report any incidents of COVID-19 in the facility to Dr. Sills, in addition to the club ICO and any other required reports. And lastly, clubs must promptly report any change in government regulations to Jeff Miller or Brendan Plack.
No football in 2020, fellas. No football. Did you hear my brother Kenny speak? I hope y'all listen to my brother Kenny speak. All that shit makes sense. Nothing. He did not. He gave it to you straight up. NFL memorandum from the Roger Goodell. Now listen to that. Read it. Follow it. Listen to it. If you don't, go find it on the internet. Read it yourself. I did today. And there will be no football because you know what? All 32 teams won't be able to exist the way that all 32 teams need to exist. It just won't happen. New York and California being the main two states.
We take a lot of pride. We take a lot of pride in booing the commissioner, but you got to give him props in this because these guidelines he set forth, it's going to cost him a lot of money, but he did the right thing by putting out these strict guidelines and putting a lot of thought into it and working with.
I applaud him. I applaud him. And when I read it, I was clapping. I said, God damn it, he's smarter than the fucking president. You know that? He's smarter than the fucking president of the United States.
Facts.
That's a low bar.
He handled his country.
Facts.
He handled his country better than the president handled his country. Facts.
Real quick, just on a side note, shout out to Angria Trask, who's riding with us in the chat tonight. I just saw that she had popped in there. Big props to Angria Trask. She did announce on Twitter earlier this week that the Ladies of Darkness.
What's up, sis?
We're
it's
definitely
good to
looking
see you,
forward
sis.
to that.
Thanks for joining us. You know what I'm saying?
Big cheers to you. Beers up on the screen right now for you, Angria. Also, another announcement I'll make for Angria Trask. Recently hired by Silver and Black Today. Angria is now a paid writer for Silver and Black Today. Make sure you read her articles. I put this on Twitter, but I'll say it right now for those of you that are not on the tweets. You're not tweaking your tweeties. I've been following Angria Trask about halfway through her writing career. This is a lady that knows her football. She holds her own on Twitter, man. I've not seen her lose a Twitter battle yet. Rarely is she wrong. Always is she opinionated. This lady even wrote for the Detroit Lions. She ate a mile of shit. She paid her dues writing for the Detroit Lions.
If you got blocked by her, you was a dumb motherfucker.
You deserved it.
You got blocked by my sister, you was a dumb motherfucker.
I don't even know if she's blocked anyone, because you know what, Angria? She wants all the smoke. She wants all of that. She wants all the smoke. So make sure you check her out on Silver and Black today. She's now writing for them. Good for you, Angria. Good for you.
Congratulations, sis.
One last thing too is that Angria made a very, very good suggestion too. If we had to have a football game with no fans, she suggested that we just mic up Gruden and just have everyone just listen to that. And I love it. I love that idea. So shout out Angria. Hell yeah, we gotta do that.
Put screens in the seats and have everybody zoom in. All the season ticket holders get Zoom codes and amplify the Zoom chat, and we'll be out there. We'll be big.
Let everyone fucking zoom in. The whole nation, let them fucking zoom in, bro. Okay, put us on multiple screens. Put us on the fucking big screen, and let us
crash
do our thing, bro.
Hey, let Pillaging Podcast crash Zoom.
Put us on the big screen, goddammit.
Let's crash this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Let's crash Zoom. Everybody get on here at once. Let's
not right now, motherfucker. We got a show to complete.
I'll be doing my best to launch those DNS server attacks. We are anonymous. You should fear us. I've been deep in that IRC hacker game since the late 90s. So I'm serious when I say that. I'll be pointing my DNS cannon straight at them Silver and Black servers, and we'll be getting on that big screen. We'll be taking over that whole broadcast. Don't even tempt me. Don't even tempt me. I got weapons over here. Y'all don't even know.
Kenny's setting us up for our next letter.
Yeah. Check it out. So you've heard from us. You've heard from the commissioner. You've heard from Jerry McDonald. You've heard from some of the pillagers. This week, the governor sounded off on the NFL reopening in their states. So we've highlighted a couple of those things. Now, before you guys, get your pennies in a twist again, throw your phone out the window, whatever. Like, these guys keep talking about California. The Raiders are in Las Vegas. Let go of it. Here, this is the thing. We're talking from context. We all live in California. But the reason why we said that, and Kane and Che both teased it, is there's a pact over here on the West Coast. And what is it called? It's called the Western States Pact. It's a joint effort between officials in Colorado, California, Washington, Nevada, and Oregon. So those states right now have joined a partnership, and they're in lockstep when it comes to these reopening guidelines. Even though they might be on different timelines, they've agreed to the same protocols.
Or different color states, red or blue.
Yeah.
Nevada being the red state. Yes.
So, and because the Raiders are still, have a training camp scheduled here in California, even though we don't think it's going to happen, we still have a foot here in the Bay Area. So, according to California Governor Gavin Newsom, who I like to refer to as Patrick Bateman, American Psycho, Patrick fucking Bateman. Gavin Newsom reiterated doubt that NFL games could be played in the state in the fall, even without fans. He says, and I quote, "It's difficult for me to imagine," and I pulled this off of, got to give some credit here. I pulled this off of Yahoo Sports. Quote, "It's difficult for me to imagine a stadium that's filled until we have immunity, until we have a vaccine." Newsom said in a media briefing, "Imagine what the leagues do when one or two of their key personnel or players are tested positive. Do they quarantine the rest of the team if an offensive lineman is practicing with defensive linemen and they are tested positive? What happens to the rest of the line? What happens for the game coming up next weekend? It's inconceivable to me that this is not a likely scenario. It's a very tough question for these leagues to answer because they must have a safety first, health first mindset. And there are conditions that persist in this state and this nation that make reopening very, very challenging. And I got to give a shout out to Governor Gavin Newsom, who
Governor Newsom.
whole thing has put the health and safety of his
Before
delegates.
everybody. But you know what I thought about? I thought about these football players that aren't working. Are you collecting unemployment? What are y'all doing right now? Like, do y'all making millions? Do y'all care? Do y'all care about your safe and healthy and welfare? Or do you care more about your
bonus checks, dog?
Wait, but do they care about their paycheck, or do they care about, look, okay, we can't play football right now, but I just signed the contract for this. Are you paying these guys the money that you signed the contract to them for? You know, and the new guys, they just signed the contract. How do they get a paycheck? You know, all this comes into question when you talk about playing football this year, you know, and the NFLPA, you know, and the NFLPA has set a very strong guideline on how they care about their players. Like, they really care. In my opinion, they don't want football. If the players wanted football, they would go on strike and say, we don't agree with because there was a season that the players went against the NFLPA.
And we're going to get into that.
Okay, all right, bro.
We're going to talk about those lockouts and those strikes. But moving on to Nevada, Governor Steve Sisolak has indicated he'll likely follow the lead of the Western States Pact when it comes to opening to large events such as NFL games. The Western State Pact, as we just mentioned, has been an effort for the 5 states to work together to determine what they believe is the best route to operate and open under COVID-19 protections. It's notable that the three other governors in those states, California's Newsom, Washington's Inslee, and Colorado's Polis, all have NFL schedules to consider. As it stands, California
and Nevada.
Newsom has already cast a doubt. Washington has said he could envision games being played with fan limitations, but said the prospect remains up in the air until there's more clarity on the spread of COVID-19 in the summer. Police has yet to make a definitive statement, and the 5th governor, Oregon's Kay Brown, who does not have an NFL team to consider, has already announced that large gatherings such as sporting events will be prohibited through at least the end of September.
But has an NBA team. So
that appears to put Newsom and Brown in a no column for sporting events in early fall. Jumping across the nation to Cuomo, who oversees New York, and then New Jersey's nearby. He was asked if the Bills could start training camp on time in July, and Cuomo's response to that is, ask me in June. So right now it's a no for him too. On Wednesday, Dr. Anthony Fauci, director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases and one of the leading figures in the country's fight against the coronavirus pandemic, told Snapchat's Peter Hamby that he believes sports could return this summer, but only under certain conditions. He says, quote, there's a way of doing that. Nobody comes to the stadium. Put the players in big hotels, wherever you want to play, keep them very well surveilled, have them tested every single week, and make sure they don't wind up infecting each other and their family. We've already talked about the logistical ramifications and the supply chain that affects that, and the fact that you're actually pulling tests away from normal citizens just to play a football game. Okay.
Doesn't work. Doesn't work.
Federally. Exactly what I was saying.
It doesn't work.
But you know what? Our president, our president probably would approve for that shit for the economy. This is an economy president.
Mm-hmm.
You know, his presidency is built on the economy. That's all he's worth. Other than that, he ain't worth shit. And so without the economy, he ain't worth shit. He can't handle we said we weren't going to do this.
Yeah, we won't get into politics, but So we're talking about basically what's been teased in these responses has a lot to do with the fans and the attendance in the game. When your average NFL stadium houses 55 to 60,000 people, that's a lot of folks. Attending games as it stands right now, on field and in-person activities, still up in the air, and it looks very doubtful that fans will be in attendance to start the season. Fans may not get to attend a live game at all this year. The league began planning for that reality back in April. I've been asked by several folks if I'll be attending games this year. I say no, and I have my own reasons for that. But my response has usually been met with laughter. get laughing emojis. Oh, you're not going, Kenny. Ha, 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 ha. Well, consider the fact that players aren't even allowed to play catch at the facility right now. How likely is it that 60,000 of us will be allowed to attend games in the fall? I say it's highly unlikely. My savings account and my PTO be damned. There's other things that are going to keep me from going to games this year. So with that said, those of you that are excited that have already bought tickets, I think it's pertinent for you guys to know this. I did the research for you in case you didn't happen to look this up before you buy your tickets. Ticketmaster hasn't offered a single refund for canceled events since all this madness began. Trust me, I had concert tickets lined up for this summer. I'm ass out. I'm never seeing that money again. StubHub was initially offering refunds, but they pulled that off the table in late March. They said we're going to give refunds, and then late March they doubled down and they said for those of you who purchased tickets from the third party seller StubHub, in the event of a cancellation, you will receive a coupon for 120% of the value of your initial purchase that could be applied to future events. So that money is gone. If you paid $500 for a nosebleed ticket, it's gone.
Yeah. It's gimp.
They gave you a voucher to the fucking buffet, dog.
Oh, hey, seafood buffet, bro.
It's like we used to say back in the day. It's gimp. It's gimp.
You know,
a couple times
they got them Chipotle gift cards for you as a consolation. Right?
Hey, you know what? And the fucked up part about it is they selling tickets like a motherfucker. Because I went on NFL Tickets Exchange because I'm like, I'm so dying to go to the Carolina game. Like I wish in my heart I could go to Carolina, and then you know what I'm saying? They selling tickets on that motherfucker like it's nothing.
And just so you guys know, in case you didn't notice, when you type in NFLTicketExchange.com, that's Ticketmaster under a different name. It's just Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
So if you bought them tickets and those games don't happen, you ain't seen that money. It ain't coming back.
Or as Kenny would say, laughing emoji.
Laughing
crying emoji.
And you know what? There definitely will not be a game 1 in September.
No. And so here's the thing. So now we get into these contingency plans, right? And before I get into that, I'll say this. Postponing the season deeper into the flu months, I don't know how that works out.
I think that's worse.
I think it's worse too. So ESPN's Adam Schefter shared the league's plan for an ESPN NFL schedule special, which featured the following tidbits. If games are delayed, earlier weeks on the schedule could be pushed back until after week 17, which would mean that the week on the release schedule could technically, any week on the schedule could turn into week 1. Week 5 can end up being week 1. And for Raider fans, let me pull up the schedule right now.
They talking about football in the spring, bro.
Yeah, they are. That would also push back Super Bowl 55, right? So let's look at it right now. Week 1, Rams Raiders. Sorry, that's preseason. Saints at Raiders. Week 2, Raiders at Patriots. How do you feel about that game being played in January?
No, week 3 is Raiders.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's Raiders at Panthers. Imagine that game getting pushed back in December, January. Imagine the Raiders playing in New England in January. Derek Carr's sweating right now. He's sweating. Look, all of this shortened offseason, eliminated offseason, it's a built-in excuse for you stands. Derek Carr didn't have the chemistry to build.
Oh, snap.
Shots fired.
It's a legitimate. It's a legitimate argument. We talked about this. It's a legitimate argument.
It is. I couldn't help myself though, bro.
I can't.
This will be the only motherfucking season you actually get a legitimate argument this year, bro. You actually get that. Get that. So you take this off season and get better. Get better than Marcus Mariota because John Gruden obviously thinks he's better. You don't bring him in and pay him the money and give him the contract that you did if you don't think that. So y'all can think what y'all want to think. I don't give a fuck.
They're starting Mariota in Kansas City. Watch out. To accommodate the potential schedule reshuffling, every team was given the same bye week as their week 2 opponent. And you guys already know that. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell released a statement acknowledging the league has contingencies in place. The release of the NFL schedule is something our fans eagerly anticipate every year as they look forward with hope and optimism ahead. In preparing to play the season as scheduled, we will continue to make our decisions based on the latest medical and public health and blah, blah, blah. We've talked about all that already. They are prepared to make adjustments as necessary, quote, as we have during this offseason and safely and efficiently conducting key activities such as free agency, the virtual offseason program, and 2020 NFL draft. As somebody mentioned in the chat a couple weeks ago, yes, I am a low-key NASCAR fan, and they are having virtual races this year. Prepare for a virtual Madden tournament in place of a regularly scheduled NFL season.
Hey,
shout out
and by
to
the
Dutch.
by the way, we need to fucking put some funds together and get this PS4, bro, so we can manage this motherfucking team.
My boy Dutch from PJ4L said, let's have a fucking football fantasy season Madden style. And let Madden decide.
I'm down.
Check it out. This is a good time to break format right here. We were recently presented with an opportunity. There is a virtual Madden league, and the GMs of such league are podcasts that cover their favorite team. So right now, the Pillaging Podcast is presented with the opportunity to become the general managers of the Raiders in that Madden league. The only hitch in that is we're all Xbox owners. We don't have
or we don't own none of that shit at all.
It's your cocaine.
I'm willing to plunk down $150, or if the Pillagers tell me it's okay to use some of this donation money to go out and purchase it, I will do so as an investment in the podcast.
Y'all don't want to fuck with my boy Kenny.
That's your money.
This shit all the time. Y'all get with him.
It's true. I could go out and get that PS4, and the four of us together could come together as general managers, and I'll make the moves on the PS4, but we'll make the decisions together as a team. If you guys would like to see the Pillaging Podcast in control of the Raiders in this Madden League, and you get to watch those games be played out virtually on YouTube, we will be hosting those games on our channel. You guys can come watch those. If you're interested in that, let us know. Send us an email, hit us up on Twitter, put it in the chat, whatever it is. Send me a text message, call in 408-909-PJFF. Let us know how you feel about that. Are we allowed to use your money? Should I use my own money? And would you like to see us be the general managers of the Raiders in this league?
Hey, you know what? I'll say it right here. I'll say it right here, right now, man. If the Pillagers are down, I'll fork up the cash for this, bro. I have enough of these cans that I've been crushing from all these chelas that I've been buying, and I've been
recycling,
and I've been lightweight social distance stripping on the side too, bro. It basically means I'm just waving that arrow naked, bro. So making money. That's all I know.
That's what all those wardrobe changes are about, Bobby.
You heard it from Bobby right here.
Look for Bobby
right now. Is Bobby Wasabi from Watsonville, California, showing you what he's got on the pole.
Come challenge us. You heard it from Bobby right there. We got y'all.
Look out, Watsonville people. Look out for Bobby stripping in a backyard near you.
This is a team. This right here is a team you can't fucking beat. Come at us.
Yeah.
Hey, but straight out, I'll do it. I'll do it. Hell yeah.
Hey.
Hit us with those moves, man. Those moves, man.
Hey, hold on, bro. I'm not sure if you guys want to lose your eyesight tonight, bro. I've done moves that bound me from the south, bro. Why do you think I don't watch NASCAR, bro?
Bro, we're already banned from the south, Bobby. We just gotta show up there, okay?
Hey, this team, they can't beat this team. This team right here, they can't beat this team. This team done been right about hella shit.
Hey,
I tell you what, if we get that franchise, I'm starting Henry Lawrence at right tackle. I don't give a fuck.
I love it. Let's do it. Shit, I don't got a PS4. I don't got an Xbox, but my son do. So I could participate Xbox style,
A shortened season. It's not the first time in NFL history. This has happened several times. namely, and it's happened before this, but namely 1982 and 1987. Those are the primary years that we want to look at. In 1982, an NFL strike began September 21st and lasted for 57 days. It ended November 16th. During this time, no NFL games are played. The strike occurred because the union demanded that a wage scale based on percentage of gross revenues be implemented. My, how far we have come. The NFLPA wanted the percentage to be 55%, and according to the LA Times, the demand dominated the negotiations. During this strike, the NFLPA promoted 2 AFC and NFC All-Star games. One was held at RFK Stadium in DC on October 17th, and the second was held at LA Memorial Coliseum, rest in peace, a day later. Nobody watched these fucking games, dude. Nobody went to
I
those
remember
games.
that shit though.
Yeah.
Yo, shout out to Pete. Shout out to Pete for the donation real quick.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. Pete, $10. He says this money is from Rue, and it's a fictional Twitter bet. He says, sign up for the Madden tournament, damn it.
Hey, that's it.
Hey,
it's
for
done.
For those of you that's diehard Raider fans, what was our record during that season? Kenny, don't fucking give it up. What was that record? What was that record, huh?
In 82?
In 82. Don't tell them. Don't tell them. Just all y'all in the chat right now. What was our record? You know what I'm saying? In that season. What did the Raiders do in the strike-ridden season? Let's just see how many y'all
They did pretty well, y'all. They did pretty well. That's your hint. They did pretty well.
The one hint I'll give is that they partied.
They did party.
That's my only hint.
Very well.
I'm getting no answers here. The answer is 8-1. The Raiders went 8-1 that year. They lost one game. So, maybe there's some advantages to a shortened season. Who knows? But again, remember, these seasons were shortened over NFLPA discussions and a strike.
Wow, Rue didn't even know the answer to that question.
Oh, Rue just chimed in 8-1.
Yeah,
okay.
And angry.
It's Rue, bro. Come on, bro.
Well, my bad for jumping the gun. I got to remember YouTube is on a delay, and these guys had to look it up on Google, obviously.
Except Rue. Except Rue.
In 1987, the NFL and the NFLPA came to a standstill once again, resulting in a one canceled week and several games played by scab players. Now, this is the season I remember more. This was the emergence of Vince Evans as a Raider quarterback. As a kid, I knew no better. I loved Vince Evans. I was a big Vince Evans fan for a couple weeks there. That dude threw the ball hard. He threw the ball real hard.
I think we all was happy to see Vince Evans come in over any quarterback other than Jim Plunkett.
Yeah.
After Jim Plunkett, yeah. So, few players crossed the line. Niner players had to cross the line. Joe Montana crossed that line. Roger Craig, Ronnie Lott. Yeah.
Roger Craig crossed the line only to fumble the football in the NFC Championship. In 2011, the NFL experienced another lockout, one that resulted in Goodell authoring contingency plans that appear to be the model for what we're seeing now. And we had no lost games that year. There was only one preseason game that was lost, and that was a Hall of Fame game, which also nobody watches. So the good news is in all of these plans, the seasons did happen. But Kane, man, as the elder statesman, what was your feelings during these years, 82, 87, seeing these seasons shortened? What did you remember?
Well, the one year we won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was, they want to say, oh, it was asterisk. No, it was a season.
Playoffs are the playoffs. Playoffs are the playoffs, man.
8-1 is a fucking season. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? We won a fucking Super Bowl.
Yo, but that's the season that followed, though, right?
Yeah, that was 83.
Yeah, that's the season that followed. But
we won the Super Bowl.
And then we went to the next season.
And then that next season is the strike season. So that doesn't even count for us, bro.
Yeah. Right. But I'm saying the team that went to the Super Bowl still stayed together and was an 8-1 team in that strike-ridden season.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So we was still a team. It didn't harm us. It didn't hurt us. You know what I'm saying? So for me, no, I'm all right with it. You know what I'm saying? But for the rest of the NFL, it was a lot of chaos. And I think Al Davis was able to, at that time, keep his team together, player, because he's always been a maverick. He's always been that type of guy that would just be like, okay, this is happening over here, but this is not how we do it here. So I think during that time, he had a real good capture of his team. And we was able to survive through this strike-ridden season. If we have a strike-ridden season, it's just going to be on the stronger teams. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I just think it's just going to be those players that want to come together and win a game. You know what I'm saying?
You won't have scabs in this situation, right?
That's what I'm saying. You will not have scabs. It will be players that want to just, hey, look, we here, we got 8 games. Let's go out and win these 8 games.
And that would have been a good 2-minute drill question. I got to put that in the database, Kane. We will, and Kane brought this up earlier in the day, guys. We will be bringing the 2-minute drill back as we start to get into the doldrums of the off season here, as the news cycle starts to slow down. It's just we got a lot of information on these last few shows, but as we start to look for ways to kill time and fill content and keep things entertaining for you guys, be on the lookout for the 2-minute drill. If you guys want to sign up for that, please let me know.
Nobody else wants to.
Yeah, if nobody raises their hand,
y'all done scared a lot of motherfuckers off with that shit. But I was thinking about it today, and I was like, "Fuck, we need to bring that back. Quit being a scary little bitch."
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Call in, challenge my boy Kenny, because he gonna bring
You want to know
he
why
gonna
we
bring
don't
up
have
some
guests on the
questions
show?
from Mars.
You want to know why we don't have guests on the show? Guests on the show? Maybe that's why. But look,
if being scary, come through, do the 2-minute drill.
If nobody raises their hand,
I will be calling on people at random.
Hey, we need somebody.
I fucking love it.
We need one of y'all stop being a punk bitch. Challenge Rue for his title.
I'll tell you this right now. If you have
challenge
ever
Rue for his title,
Kane, if you have ever called in and left a message on this show, I have your phone number.
There you go.
So, hey, and I propose this. You call them and they answer, hello, no response, just 2-minute drill music.
Yeah.
Hit it. I know you got it on lock. Hit it.
We need to have a 2-minute drill tournament.
Raider Roo says he'll do it. Raider Roo,
of course he will.
You just chill on that throne, bro. You just chill on the throne for right now.
But we need to have somebody challenging. So what we should do is we should have 4 people do the show, do the 2-minute drill, and then do a playoff. And the winner at the end of the playoff or the tournament has to challenge Rue for the questions.
Well, Murph is in that final bracket right now because Rue currently holds the title in both 2-minute.
Rue, you in that final bracket, baby. We need somebody to challenge.
Rue's in that bracket. Murph is in that bracket. And I think we have one other person past that too. I got to go back and look at the notes.
We need to do a playoff. After we do the grow, we should do a playoff of the 2-minute drill.
Hey, shout out to Austin because he says that everyone gonna be calling up now with burner phones. That way,
didn't Andrea track?
Talking track phone just went up like immensely right now. Everyone's buying them track phones. You know what I mean?
But did Andrea Trask as a lady? She deserves.
I got to mute Kane for using angry as government name right now. Kane, if you got some hot sauce, you got to take a shot of the hottest sauce you got in the fridge. We don't do government names on this show.
Need to be in that fucking tournament. We should have a tournament of all the best players.
I don't think he heard me. Kane, go get your hot sauce and chug that shit for using angry as government name on the show.
Yeah. No,
the hot shit,
no
too.
governments in this
cappuccino.
fucking show, bro.
I know you got that times up in the cabinet. You got to take a shot of that right now. He thinks I'm joking. Thinks I'm bullshit.
Don't
Are
get
y'all
that shit.
fucking serious? Are y'all fucking serious? All right,
Bro,
hold
I've
on.
done it
Hold on.
multiple times.
It's
Hold on,
punishment.
Yeah, I'm
Punishment
serious.
sauce.
All right, hold on.
I'm talking about a legit drop. A legit drop. Let me get back to this quick because we're about to wrap this up. Hold on.
There you go.
These are the guidelines in 2011. This was a contingency plan. Tell me if it sounds familiar. Just in case the labor dispute lasted into September and the plan started the regular season, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell stated that Super Bowl could be moved a week later if needed, and that the entire season could be played in full. In addition, every contest in week 3 had teams that shared the same bye week later in the season, which would have allowed these games to be made up on what was originally the team's byes. Weeks 2 and 4 were set up so that there are neither any divisional rivalry games nor teams on byes in those weeks, which would have kept the season as fair as possible if those games had to be canceled. The league could also eliminate the normal off week between the conference championship games and the Super Bowl. Up to 6 weeks of the season could have been lost, moving week 3 games into the bye weeks, canceling weeks 2, 4, and 17, and moving weeks 1 and 5 to the end of the season while postponing the playoffs 1 week. While still keeping a generally fair schedule of 5 division games and 8 non-division games, the league also had a plan for a longer lockout, which included an abbreviated 8-game season beginning in late November. Goodell had also stated the league did not consider using replacement players. So it sounds very familiar, and that's good. They had a model in place and they went with it, and there's some slight tweaks there. But I will say this, and I said it once and I'll say it again. If we as a nation, from a health standpoint, are not ready to play games in September, we are not playing games in November and December. And here comes the time's up sauce. This is a ghost pepper sauce. That's it, really. That was healthy. I can see.
Yo,
he took a swig.
That
bro.
was a straight shot at the bottle, bro. Woo!
Damn, dog.
Yeah, okay. Hey.
So, just so you know, just so you guys know that we have equity. The punishment shot started on another podcast I was a part of called the Drink Tank Podcast. You're welcome to go listen to those episodes. They're still up. There's a major warning disclaimer. I was a different person on that show. I said a lot of
fuck you.
That shouldn't have been said. When we started the Crow's Nest podcast, we switched the punishment sauce from booze you wouldn't want to drink to insanely hot sauces. Anytime anyone crossed the line or said a government name, we were required to take a shot of that. My insides have still not recovered from those. Kane, welcome to the club. You have now been baptized by fire and taken your first punishment sauce shot. That is hot sauce right there.
Fuck it. Hey, if y'all ain't never tasted that shit, fuck y'all, because y'all don't know.
On that sauce, Kane. I put you up on that sauce. Don't act like I didn't.
Timer, holy water. Bless him right now, yo. Yeah, he needs help.
I need a beer. Hold on.
You're real
shit.
Damn, dude. Kane gonna have to wipe with ice cream, bro. He's gonna set his toilet paper on fire, right?
He about to wipe that mint chip back there, bro.
Hey, invest in wet wipes. Invest in wet wipes. I tried a new hot sauce yesterday that got to me about 1 o'clock in the morning. It hit me. It was hot in the mouth. Yeah. I took it, but man, it hit me hard later in the day. So, Kane, we appreciate you, brother. Just following the rules here. Just following the rules.
Yep, my brother Kenny, you put me up on that shit.
Hey, by the way, I had to throw. I just bought a bottle of that pepper plant the other day, and I threw some of that shit on my breakfast eggs today, dog. Hey.
Yep.
Shout out to the pepper plant straight out of Gilroy, your boy Kenny's hometown. And if you don't know about that, go in the store, search for it. If you gotta order it, and recommend it, because you don't gotta put no fucking salt on your eggs. Just put that pepper plant on there. Got the right amount of salt, right amount of fucking spice. That's all I'm saying.
Some cumin kicking in there. Some pepper, some garlic.
It's kicking.
It's the most flavorful hot sauce on the planet. And
that hot sauce right there, you can't even fucking taste it unless you don't use a lot of this shit.
No, we're not talking
You know
about that
what I'm
one, bro. We're not talking about that one.
My nose and shit is running right now, bro. I'm telling you, that hot sauce right there. You gotta cut that shit with some motherfucking Frank's.
You can't gotta step on that motherfucker, though.
And you gotta cut that shit with some Frank's Red Hot or some shit, cause you put that on some straight chicken wings. Your ass is finna be on, and when I say ass, I mean your ass.
Yo, that's your ass.
Finna be on motherfucking fire.
Real quick, we're all making an agreement right now that the next time we are all in the studio together, we're taking a shot, and it's not gonna be a shot of that time's up. You already know what time it is. You already know what time it is.
Mad Dog 357. Yep.
Mad Dog 357.
357.
Just to wake us up, y'all. Just
the Mad Dog with the Bellas. Shit.
Yeah.
Woo, hey, you better have some limes and some motherfucking radishes and some radishes and some shit to cool off my motherfucking mouth.
Yeah.
For the whole motherfucking shit. Some limes, some radishes, some carrots, and some other shit to cool off my goddamn mouth.
Here's a pro tip here's a pro tip from your resident spice lord, Kenny Stapler. Anytime you're ingesting a hot sauce over 100,000 Scoville units, keep it in your mouth as long as possible. You have enzymes inside your mouth that will break down that hot sauce. Trust me, 2 hours later, your ass literally will thank you.
Literally.
Water only intensifies the heat.
I want every pillager to buy a goddamn bottle of that hot sauce. What's the name of that shit, Kenny?
Time's Up. It's called Time's Up hot sauce, and that's actually available. I can't find. Here it is.
Pepperspalace.com.
Pepperpalace.com, and they actually have a brick and mortar store in San Francisco, California, right down there on Fisherman's Wharf. So you go down there and battle all the tourists.
Oh no, you know what? I actually went there, dude. I think they were redoing last time
mustard Carolina, the Reaper mustard Carolina sauce. That's what I just took a shot of. Buy that shit.
My favorite has to be that Belizean hot sauce.
Yeah, that's good.
The peppers from Belize. Oh man, Kenny put me on point when it came to some chicken wings with that. It's
that.
Hey, Kenny is the chicken wing man. Kenny is the chicken wing motherfucker. You ought to open up. Hey, you ought to open up your whole goddamn chicken wing store. You know what I'm saying? Because the last, when I was there, them chicken wings was fucking on.
And they were fire. They were fire.
They were fire, bro.
I appreciate that. I got more where that came from. I got more than just chicken wings in my toolkit, but. Bobby, that Belizean heat, what stands apart from other hot sauces is that's a carrot-based hot sauce, and that's where a lot of that sweetness, a lot of that flavor comes from. That's a carrot-based hot sauce. The Belizean heat you could find in 4-packs available on Amazon.com. So shout out to Belizean heat.
Hey, I bought some shit from Barbados. Some hot sauce from Barbados. I think I might have texted y'all that before, a picture of it. But when I came back through the airport, it was in my backpack. It should have been in my luggage, and it was in my backpack. And they fucking took the shit, and they was laughing at me like, "Oh, we about to put this in our we gonna put this in our repertoire for lunch." You know what I'm saying?
You just socked them in their fucking face, bro.
You know what they said? You know what they said? They was like, "Oh, you could put this in your luggage for $25. You could just." And I'm like, I'm gonna pay $25.
See what you should have done.
I paid $5 for the shit, so I'm gonna pay $30 to bring this shit back to America.
Nah, see, Ken, what happened is that they told you they was gonna eat it. What you should have done is you should have opened up that lid and just dumped it out in front of them and be like,
chug that shit.
You could go ahead and eat it. And then
you don't want to chug it, bro. It was that hot. It was that. It was hotter than this Reaper sauce. It was like hotter when I was. When homeboy was on like the little tour bus we was on, and he was like doing his little spiel or whatever, he pulled the little bottle out and he was like, "Oh yeah, we put this on our, this, that, and other, this and that." And he was like, "Anybody want to taste this? I'll put a dot on your finger. I guarantee you won't be able to survive it." And I was like, "Man, I tasted the worst hot sauce ever." And I'm thinking about the shit Kenny because I'm like already done tasted the shit that Kenny gave me. So I'm like, man, I can do any hot sauce you put in my face. You know what I'm saying? So he put the hot sauce. He was like, I'm just gonna give you a dab on your finger. He put a dab on my finger. Like, woo, shit, this motherfucker hot. What's the name of it? He gave me the name. And when I was in the port, because I was on a cruise, when I was in the port, they had that same sauce. I bought some shit. I bought 2 bottles of the shit and tried to bring it back to America. And actually, we was in America, so I don't understand, because I was in the Virgin Islands. So I don't understand why they didn't let me bring the shit back.
Angry makes a good point, Kane. She said you should have keistered that bottle.
Yeah.
No, I should have put it in my motherfucking bag. Sideways. I should have put it in my luggage. But
I got one for you. Here's the move. Here's the move, gang. Here's the move. You say, you know what? All right, y'all motherfuckers want me to spend my money? I spend my hard-earned cash on this bottle. You want me to fucking throw it away? I'm about to chug this shit. And then I'm going to go boo-boo on your motherfucking plane as a fucking result. Y'all want that? Y'all want that?
I'm gonna put a boo-boo on the luggage carousel.
I think they was trying to like let me keep it, but they was like, you gotta check it to your luggage. Yeah. And I was like, that would have cost me $25. And I was just like, nah, I was good. I had already paid for my luggage to get, you know what I'm saying?
Let's move forward, guys, because it's getting hot in here. I got my balls hanging out the fucking basketball shorts right now. Stuck to
At any rate, I didn't get to bring my fucking hot sauce back from Barbados. I wanted my shit. You know what I'm saying? So fuck.
You heard it here first. Kenny Stapler is free balling in the crow's nest.
Balls out. Balls out. Balls to the wall. Yeah, you're damn right. So we figured it all out. So I apologize because we
get that shit out of your system before. Get that shit out of your system before me and Bobby come back to the crow's nest, dog.
All right. Y'all don't want to see the bat wing in person.
Disinfect that whole.
It's like that whole crow's nest, dog. Shout out Luis Guzman, bro. Shout out Louis G. It's like Peppa.
Y'all niggas crazy tonight. Hey, we feeling good tonight.
Shit.
Hey,
I'd pay money to Luis.
You gotta manage 3 drunk motherfuckers tonight. You all right with that, brother? You doing all right?
Same shit, different podcast, bro. What am I to do, bro? So again, I gotta apologize because you guys have heard me basically just reading shit off of paper almost all night, and we've had our moments, we've had our laughs, but it's time for the fellas to weigh in on some stuff here. So I got some questions for y'all. Bobby, you've been quiet all night, so I'm going to ask you. A few years ago, when the Raiders decided when Oakland decided that the Raiders weren't going to play there no more, we applied to become a tenant in Los Angeles, and we were shut down by 31 owners in the NFL. And now with these guidelines, which we've gone over, we spent the last 2 hours going over, we pretty much said California ain't hosting any NFL games this year. So you already know the Niners ain't welcome in our house. The Terror Dome is not bitch. Is not going to play host to the red and the gold. Terror Dome, bitch. Bonus points anyway to name that movie. I got to get that sound drop now. How do you, Bobby, feel about LA teams knocking on the door of the Terror Dome, bitch, wanting to play in our stadium? What would you say, Bobby? You're Mark Davis. What do you say, hey, Funky, about taking his Kmart, Walmart money, whatever it is, to play in Las Vegas? Would you allow them to do so? What do you say about that, Bobby Wasabi?
I would advise those teams to go ahead and pull up their Netflix and start watching the Tiger King, because Florida is wide open.
Yep.
Y'all can go be Florida man all you want, dude. There's gonna be local Florida man, 49er, Jimmy Garoppolo, was caught pantless in wherever the hell, go ahead. They open. Wisconsin is the Wild West. Go ahead and do whatever the hell you want there. Not here. Y'all wanted to hate, talk all this shit about laughing and all this crap. I mean, hey, there you go. See, you should have just kept your mouth shut. I mean, you're over here begging for money, dude. Why ain't you guys on budget, dude? Why ain't you guys on budget to get your fucking Star
Walmart
sloppy looking thong of a fucking theater of a stadium together, dog? And you asking for more money, dog. What happened? The Clear Hills didn't kick in or what, dog? So no, that's a negative, dog. Go be Joe Exotic somewhere else, man.
That's nail pastel.
Walmart.
Nail pastel, bro. Nail pastel.
There you go. In shorter terms, in shorter words.
Walmart.
Go play your game.
Walmart is hurting right now. Walmart is hurting right now.
Go play your games in a Walmart parking lot, Stan Kroenke. Pull some strings, dog.
Hey, Gilroy, that's C. John Grimm's, right? Is that an RV park now? C. Grimm's RV.
Kroenke's got that Walmart money, dog. Walmart allows you to camp out in their parking lot. I don't see why they wouldn't let you play an NFL game in that parking lot.
Throw some turf out there, bro.
Hey.
Y'all already used to social distancing because your fans ain't been close to you for the last 3 years.
Fuck that. Last 10 years, bro.
You're a fan. You're a fan. You gotta say that.
Hey,
fan.
you know what?
You're a fan.
He must have texted Dean Spanos like, hey, you need to kick in some dough, bro. You know what I'm saying? My shit's fucked up right now. I need you to kick in some shit. You know what I'm saying?
My Prime account just went up, bro. You gotta kick in.
Yeah, you need to kick in some shit. Nigga, Walmart ain't doing what we do right now. You know what I mean? What you got going on?
That bitch, Carol Baskins, fed all the Charger fans to the damn Tigers, bro.
Dean Spanos was like, nigga, Dean Spanos was like, nigga, we'll go back to San Diego first. Fuck y'all. You know what I'm saying?
That motherfucker's trying to get into all them goddamn swap meets right now. He's trying to sell merchandise to the swap meets. Okay.
So Che,
right?
You had started to weigh in on this earlier. That thong of a stadium in LA is, nowhere near Phoenix.
That's La Tanga, bro. That's the nickname for Raider Nation. Just so you know, you walk up in the bench, you say La Tanga. Hey, we're gonna go to La Tanga tonight. We're gonna fuck shit up, bro. Okay?
Yeah, we're gonna tangas, bro.
That banana hammock of a stadium, that Memorial Stadium, is $500 million short, $500 million short in funding.
If he thought that the Chargers was gonna help him build that stadium because they could sell tickets and PSLs with their fans, then guess what? You got another motherfucking thought coming. The Raiders
got another thing coming.
The Raiders was a team that should have been voted to LA, and I believe the Rams should have been too. But there should have been two stadiums out there.
But you know what? The good news is,
so
we don't gotta share a stadium with nobody. Y'all can fuck off. Find somewhere else to play. That's what I gotta say about that. Chargers, you're right, Kane. The Chargers weren't never going to help them. The Chargers can't even help themselves. You know what? The Chargers put the players' numbers on their helmets so Herbert knows who to throw the fucking ball to. That's the state of the Chargers right now. That's where the Chargers are at right now.
Woo! Hey, shots fired, bro. Hey, and I'm glad we're taking these shots.
Hey, we're gonna take them because the Rams ain't the Rams. They ain't the Rams.
Listen, these motherfuckers ain't who anybody fucking thought they might be. They're fucking lost cause, bro. I don't care. The Rams had a good season, and then last season they were average. They're playing the fucking NFC West. And this season, we don't even know what the fuck they're gonna look like, bro. Honestly. You're talking about an LA team. Okay, the Rams are the best LA team. I didn't even say anything about the fucking Chargers, okay? Because they don't even fucking exist in my mind as an LA team. They're not even existing, bro.
They're San Diego. If you ask me, they still
Chargers are hurting right now. Chargers are hurting so bad. They had to repo Chase headphones. They're up on eBay for auction.
the Chargers should have never left San Diego. They should have never left San Diego. That's my opinion. The Chargers should have never left San Diego, and the Raiders have flourished from this decision by the NFL, and it's really ironic because Mark Davis told Dean Spanos, "Hey, if you don't take this deal, I will." And so if Mark Davis and Dean Spanos didn't take that deal, and Mark Davis did take the deal to move to LA, the stadium would be built because the Raider fans would have bought those tickets. You know what I'm saying? So you the NFL, you made a decision to fuck up everybody, but you actually made a decision that made Mark Davis a billionaire who has his own stadium in Las Vegas and is shining like a fucking bright star. He's shining like Jerry Jones right now.
Paula shot Paula 20-inch blades on the Impala.
Yeah. So all the hate that y'all tried to do to us as Raider fans, you actually helped us because we have the biggest and best stadium in the motherfucking league right now, and the Rams can't even finish their stadium.
Nope.
So you should have at the beginning.
Check it out, though.
Here, real quick, bro. Let me say this shit real quick. Mm-hmm. What the fuck did you expect? Okay, so listen to this. Okay, so if you look at the flip side, let's look at the NBA. You got the Lakers and the Clippers. Now, the Clippers have been a better team for the last few years, right? For a while. Mm-hmm. That's still a Laker fucking town.
Yeah.
Why? Because tradition and championships and winning and culture controls all, right? Mm-hmm. The Lakers will always own LA. That's why the Clippers got to move to fucking. They got to go over and they got to build their own stadium somewhere else, right? Mm-hmm. The Raiders own LA. Mm-hmm. They have, and they always will. And you guys brought in the Clippers and then a lesser fucking team to try to fucking write that in the NFL. The Rams are the Clippers, mm-hmm. and the Chargers don't even exist. Yeah. You guys thought that shit was going to put your fucking... Bro. You thought that was going to work out. Come on, man.
And even further to the point, because I think a lot of out-of-state fans, NFL fans, don't understand this context, Che. And you've spent time down in SoCal. I spent a short time down there. Something you have to know is that San Diego-LA rivalry is a real thing. The citizens themselves don't like each other. And so the Chargers, this is going to sound a bit extra to people that don't know, but the Chargers moving to LA would be like the Raiders moving to Denver. It was never going to happen.
Exactly. It was never going to happen.
It's true.
And the thing about that, and to expound on that, what Che just said, you should, when you thought about moving teams to LA, if you wanted a team to have that market, it should have been the Raiders.
Yeah.
You know, the Rams could have moved to Las Vegas and still got the same buzz as the Raiders are getting down there, because I think that the Raiders, when they moved to Vegas, we didn't lose no fans in Oakland and LA and in the Bay Area or the surrounding United States. We didn't lose no fans. We did not lose any fans by moving to Las Vegas. But the Chargers lost all they fucking fans moving to Los Angeles. And the Rams had to regain their fan base by moving to LA. Now think about that, the NFL. Think about that, you stupid motherfuckers. If you was gonna build a team in a different city, why wouldn't you say, okay, Rams, you can go to Vegas and you and San Diego can have Vegas? Because Vegas needs a team. But what you dumb motherfuckers did was you gave us a whole nother fan base to add on to what we already motherfucking got in the NFL. You expanded our NFL team.
And now Utah's in the mix. Utah's now a Raider state. They're selling Raider merchandise out there like hotcakes. It goes even further than Nevada. So listen to what Kane's saying, because he's spitting facts right now. We just, you know what? You did us a favor. So thank you very much. And you can fuck off. We don't want you in our stadium. You don't want us in your stadium. And karma's a bitch. That's all I got to say.
Yep.
Let's move on to some callers. Y'all, I want you guys to react to these callers. Really quick, we'll start off with this. Go ahead, Kane. You wanted to add on to that real fast.
No, I just wanted to say y'all hurt us, man. Y'all took our team away from us. You know what I'm saying? But we thrive. You know what I'm saying? We thrive.
Hey, and one more thing, and Pete also mentioned, is that we're the only team with 3 home cities, man. 3 hometowns. So winning.
Shout out to Pete. As he says, the Vegas move is going to make our fan base grow in Utah. Mormons and Polynesians, baby. That's what he has to say about that. I didn't know there was Polynesian base out there. The last time we went to the calls, it ended on a short and sweet note. We had a really strong short call. The caller did not leave his name, so this week he wants you to know who he is, and we're going to let him tell you.
What's good, y'all? I just called earlier. Just forgot to say who I was. My name is Diego. I'm up here from the 916. I got some family in the 408, so I know the area. All right, peace.
Cool. Shout out to Diego, man. I got fam up in 916, so we got a lot in common. Let's move on here to the 626, and then I'm going to get out of the way, and Bobby and Kane, you guys can respond to this. Let's see what they got to say.
What is up, Kenny, Bobby, Che, and Kane, and the rest of Raider Nation? First-time caller, long-time listener. This is Raider Low from the 626.
Welcome.
Just got done listening to your 2020 season predictions, and I got to say I love the variety from 8-8 to 9-7 to 11-5. I love it. You know, variety's key, but love listening to all the different scenarios per matchup that's going to happen in this upcoming 2020 season. But I got to stick with Kane and Bobby on this one. My prediction is also 11-5 going into this season. You know, last season, you know, we're going under year 3 under John Gruden. We finished 4-12, 7-9, and I have high expectation for John Gruden and Derek Carr under year 3. You know, if Jack Del Rio was able to go 3-13 and then 7-9 and then 12-4, you know, on his third year, why can't Carr and Gruden do it in their third year? You know, so that's why I got to say 11-5. My low prediction, 10-6. My high prediction, 12-4. And the reasoning behind it is because last season we finished 7-9 with the shuffling roster as we had, you know, cats coming in and out mid-season. You know, we had injuries, you know, up the ass, you know. So, you know, we finished 7-9. And I keep telling this to everybody, but there's 3 games, and I'm pretty sure you all know what 3 games I'm talking about, that we could have won if for one play against for one play against the Texans. If Tadwell would have caught those passes. Against the Jags, if they would have marked Derek Carr in bounds, and against the Broncos, if that pass to Renfro never gets tipped in the red zone. You know, that's 3 games that could have had us finishing 10-6 for the season. So, you know, that, you know, with all the additions that we made on this roster on both sides of the ball, and more.
Hold on really quick to that point, because I'm not really into what ifs, because what if in 2016 4 plays didn't go our way?
And we'd be 4-12.
Well, not in 2016.
Well, no, I'm sorry, 6-10. We would have been 6-10.
Yeah, we would have been 7-9. So, 6-10. So let him continue here.
Chemistry with all the previous players that played in the last season. You know, I believe we could fix those errors and add another win or 2 to our win column, and that's why I see my lowest prediction 10-6 and my highest prediction 12-4. I mean, this is
fair enough.
We got John Gruden, 10 years, $100 million coach. Year 3. If you don't have high expectations for this team, then, I mean, I know, you know, there's rookies coming in with all this COVID pandemic happening, and it's hard for these guys to gel together with all these young cats. But at the end of the day, my expectations for this Raiders team is high going into year 3. And like I said, if they were able to do it under Del Rio, year 3, 12-4, then how come we can't do it under John Gruden? And I believe John Gruden is a better coach than Jack Del Rio. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys all agree. So I got to stick with Bobby and Kane prediction, and I see us going to the playoffs. And yes, Kane, I believe we will get a home playoff game. All right. This is Raider. I forgot to mention. I believe I forgot to mention. This is Raider Loke from the 626, and I'm out.
First of all, welcome to the show, Raider Loke. Guys, respond to that. 12-4. What's the likelihood? And do the Raiders get a playoff game? If the Raiders get into the tournament, how far can they go?
12-4. Wow. Shit.
Oh, hey, I remember those days. Remember when I predicted 12-4, King?
I remember that.
12-4 is I was going overboard with 11-5. So 12-4 would have to be Derek Carr would have an MVP season and be the MVP of the Super Bowl. 12-4 is a very daunting task for this young team with a lot of young pieces coming in, especially on defense. I'm not so on both sides of the ball, actually. You know, so we're looking at a young number one rookie. The number two was hurt last year. The number three was a rookie last year. Then you're looking at your tight end who was rehabbed last year. The rookie running back last year should have been the rookie of the year, probably your best player on offense other than your quarterback. 12-4. I just don't see that. I don't see that. With all that stacked up against them, the only way that this team goes 12-4 is if Derek Carr has an MVP season. And, you know, since 2016, you know how we feel on this podcast. That remains to be seen. So we'll see.
All right. And Austin Lepla wants you to know that Gruden took us to the playoffs in year 3 in his first stint with the Raiders.
Yeah,
so,
with Rich Gannon,
Rich Gannon
and Jerry Rice and Tim Brown and Charlie Garner and Tyrone Wheatley and a pretty good defense.
We didn't have Jerry Rice. No, we didn't have Jerry Rice at that point.
And Snowball, we had Jerry Rice in the Snowball year.
But that wasn't the first year. That wasn't the first year we went to the playoffs. We went to the playoffs with Andre Rison.
In 2000, yeah.
Andre Rison.
Andre Rison was our number 2 receiver behind Tim Brown.
Oh, is that what he said? I'm sorry. My bad.
No, you said with Jerry Rice. I'm just saying we didn't have Jerry Rice the first time.
No, we did. We did not. We had Andre Rice and Tim Brown, Tyrone Wheatley. We didn't have Charlie Garner either. We had Tyrone Wheatley and Napoleon Kaufman. So, yeah.
Yep.
To Loke's point, his call, I really like how he said, Gruden, where the hell you at? Because that's the same thing that I've been saying as well. I feel like this is a time to put more pressure on him. And not only that, he has to put more pressure on himself to do better, to provide those strategies for the team, for the offense, man. He's supposed to be the offensive-minded coach, whereas JDR was a defensive-minded coach. And, you know, if he was able to slowly put the pieces together to create some sort of culture where they were actually winning for a minute, then what the hell is Gruden's problem? He's going to have quite a bit of time here with us. And like I said, he needs to prove himself, man. He's 2 years already. Everybody was talking about how he's so far removed, he's outdated from the game and this and that. It's 2 years, bro. This is going to be 3rd year. Are you really going to let those critics basically say that they were right about you? And that's my thing, is that when does he start paying attention to his shit? It's nice that you can, you know, try to fire up your team and your quarterback, but you know, you got to put something in there as well, man. You just can't be, oh, well, I had all these plays for AB, so that's why we didn't do good this year, because that was all my plays was 90% AB. And
you don't have that.
I had no backup plan
this year.
No, hell no, dude. I mean, especially with the weapons that we've got.
We didn't hire John Gruden to sell more T-shirts. We hired John Gruden to get back to the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't. You know, I disagree with that, but whatever.
So you think we hired John Gruden to sell more T-shirts? You think that's why we hired him?
I think Mark Davis had an agenda, and I think he thought we're moving to Las Vegas. Our fans love John Gruden, so I don't think that Mark Davis thought that John Gruden couldn't get us back to the playoffs. I don't think that he questioned John Gruden's knowledge of football and that he could be a good coach. I don't think that he thought that. What I do think is that we're moving to Las Vegas and we needed somebody to help us promote that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
and
I think
why not
a short-term contract, not 10 years, $100 million. That's
okay, but
other things
I know, but we're in year 3 of a 10-year, $100 million contract, and we'll see. We'll see.
I'd hate to think Mark Davis threw $100 million at him just to sell Vegas, but I mean that was folded into it too. You're not wrong. Shout out to Andre Rison, aka Brock Middlebrook, and shout out to anybody that gets that reference. Most of y'all probably don't. In case you didn't know, Andre Rison was caught cashing bad checks using the identity Brock Middlebrook, and
I remember that. That was before he came to the Raiders.
Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah.
Brock
that was why he ended up with the CFL. He came here after he was in Canada. You know what I'm saying? Al Davis gave him a second chance.
Kane, let's listen to this next call from the 435. Let's hear what they got to say.
What's up, Kenny, Che, Kane, Bobby, Pillagers? This is Raider Roo.
Yeah.
So I was going to try to call in next week if you guys did that, and then I listened later. But my wife wanted to watch the show before she had to go to bed and go to work the next morning. So I stayed up and watched the show with her. Then I decided to smoke a little bit, and so I got high as fuck. I looked at my phone afterwards, sat down in my chair, and I was like, I don't know how to work this thing. So I didn't even try to log back in to get back in and watch the show again and get in the chat and try to call. I just decided to screw it. I'm going to watch The Office. So anyways, but after listening, I heard, and the reason why it should not have been close at all between Dave Dolby and John Gruden is, while I know Gruden means a lot to people, especially in my age group, I didn't get to watch Dolby either. I'm 39 and I didn't watch him. I know Gruden means a lot to people my age group and younger, but take your feelings and put them aside, and the history is important. Dolby started center for all 3 Raiders Super Bowl championships, and we know those offensive lines are super important to those. That guy is deserving of running away with it from Gruden, and that's nothing against Gruden, but for him to be able to get votes like that, he's got to at least win a Super Bowl as a Raider. Dolby has done much more as a Raider. It shouldn't have been even remotely close to being close. Anyways, that's my take. This has been a lot of fun. I'm still looking forward to voting the rest of them. Just wanted to give that, my little story and share my thoughts on that. All right, guys. Have a good one. Go Raiders.
Yeah, appreciate it, Rue. We're going to let that stand, and we're going to go to the last call here from the 360.
Kenny Che Kane, brother Wasabi. What's up, Pillagers? This is Pete. How we doing? So I call in this week, not with the greatest Raider of all time commentary. I've removed myself from that, as noted, and a little bit more of what y'all talked about last week. And something's being discussed because I'm calling in during the show right now, is talking about record expectations in the year following and this team. And I'm going to give you my take about as straightforward as I can, because I agree with Bobby. Motherfuckers do not pay attention when they say that, oh, we're a rebuilding team, this, that, and the other thing. Stupid ass media. And I'm an optimist like Kane, where I would like to fancy that we are going to have a 10-6 record. I'm saying right now that I'm predicting 10-6. But here's my sentiment. If we go 9-7, 8-8, 7-9 like this last year, you know what? I'm going to say I'm be fucking disappointed. I'm fucking done. at that rate. Not saying whatever, but we got 5 first-round draft picks, 3 third-round picks this year, and everything else from last year. All right? With Mike Mayock, with John Gruden, I am not a Derek Carr stan. I am all for replacing him with a former second overall pick in the middle of the year, if fucking need be, to make sure this team wins. If we do not go 10-6, if we're not in contention, if we don't knock off the goddamn donkeys, if we don't actually compete with the Chiefs, if we don't win on the road, our schedule's a lot nicer, no more international games, then I'm done. No, I'm not done with the team, but I'm just like, I'd be very fucking disappointed. I want to see some John Gruden late 90s Operation Mindcrime play calling, and I want to see some development from the coaches and the players. I don't care about the Paul Gunther, Rod Marinelli shit. I really don't. I just need to see fucking something. What with the free agent signings and all the draft capital we gave up. And that's where I ended. Number 2, I'm going to create my own bracket of the Pillaging Podcast I'm calling in with. Number 1 guest I would like to see of all time, Ray Rado. Damn it, Ray Rado. I want – make a vote. Please, God. Like, if you could ever find anybody that could get on the show and make a vote out of it, for the love of God, please get Ray Rado on. It would be fucking hilarious. I'm a fan. I know Kenny and Kane are fans, and there we go. That's about it. All right, y'all, get back to the show. Crack this chill out. Have a good one.
Ray Rattle doesn't even want to get on KMBR or NBC. Bay
He's
Area.
a fucking local, but I love him.
Hey, I like Ray Rattle, dude. He's fucking hilarious, bro.
Yeah.
I love Ray Rattle, but he will never come here.
I'll reach out, but I doubt it. That dude hates everything. So, but it'd be interesting. We're all big fans of Ray Rattle. Pete, that was a great call. The Operation Mindcrime offense that Gruden ran is very similar to what we're running right now. It's execution. That's what's being lacked. John Gruden's play system is, again, death by 1,000 paper cuts. And we saw when it worked, it's a thing of beauty. When it doesn't work, it's excruciating to watch because
oh my God,
it's sequential. It's one thing building off the next. And we converted at a high rate on third down last year, but when you can't punch into the end zone, it all looks like it's for nothing. And so,
John Gruden, let me say something. John Gruden offense is linked to his quarterback. Why won't you guys see that? Why won't you fucking see it? See it. His offense is linked to his quarterback. So if he calls 3 plays in the headphones to Carr calls those 3 plays to his offensive, and then those 3 plays have, guess what? 3 different fucking audibles. Each play has 3 different audibles. So that's 9 plays. Each player has to know going into one fucking down. Why don't y'all understand that? Okay? So if this motherfucker don't make the right audible, guess what? Shit don't work.
Things that are missing from John Gruden's playbook that we've seen before. We need to bring these things back. Is the no-huddle offense, because we've seen it briefly. It works.
Kenny, help him, bro.
And second of all is pre-snap motion. Where's the pre-snap motion? We used to do an excellent job of disguising plays with pre-snap motion and formation adjustments, and we're not seeing any of that either. So bring back.
Real quick.
It's John Gruden's offense.
Real quick though. And I hate to bring this name up because I know some of our listeners are sensitive to this name. But Tom Brady, he's been quoted as saying, the coaching staff doesn't know if a play is going to work. They call things based off of the tendencies of the other defense, right? Mm-hmm. Of the other team's defense. When they call that play, they don't know that it's going to be 100% correct, and they don't know that it's going to work. But Tom Brady's on record of saying, it's my fucking job to make that work. It's my fucking job to find the receiver or change the play to something that will work according to what
And when you get 3 of them motherfuckers called to you at once, you should be able to do something with that. Am I right or wrong?
All I'm saying is a quarterback that we despise, a lot of the nation despises, but has won quite a bit, is saying it is his job to make the plays work. It is his job to take the plays that are called and make them work and make them successful. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to leave it there because that's what a winning quarterback should do. Take responsibility for the plays and make them work, or change the play if it doesn't work.
And he doesn't. Hey, bro, look.
That's all I'm saying.
Look, bro, you get 3 motherfucking calls. You get 3 calls for a play. One play, one down. You get 3. You're calling 3 plays in the huddle. This is what they do. Look it up. Look it up, John. You're calling 3 plays in the huddle. When you get to the line of scrimmage, one of those plays are the plays that you're going to run. And now, mind you, all 3 of those plays have like 3 or 4 different audibles. You understand? So if you call a play, that's why when I read the article with John Gruden and Jerry Mack, it solidified what I've been saying. This dude's offense is very, very fucking hard. It's not easy. It's not an Andy Reid. It's harder than Andy Reid's offense. But he won't adjust. He will not adjust to do what his players can do. Derek Carr can play shotgun. That's what he does. You won't do that. Your offense calls for your quarterback to be under center. So who is the problem here? Is it Derek Carr? Is it John Gruden? Or is it both of them? Who is it?
Hey, I'll say this. Derek Carr played fine under center in 2016.
Guess what? He misses, guess who? Bill Musgrave.
No, I'm not even mentioning it. I'm not even talking about Bill Musgrave. Derek Carr played well under center in 2016.
But the majority of his plays was from the shotgun in 2016.
He didn't go to shotgun.
They did the pistol and the shotgun a lot
until he broke his fucking finger. When he broke his fucking finger, that's when they went to consistently calling shotgun plays because he couldn't take the hike directly from the center.
You're right.
And so it goes back to what we don't like to mention and what a lot of people get angry when you say anything about Derek Carr because they love him. It goes back to your injuries, Derek Carr, and you playing according to your injuries and how well you can play or recover from those injuries, both physically and mentally. And we're not trying to say either or, but there's a difference, and there's been a difference, and we'll continue to remind everybody of those differences.
And we're going to try to figure it out until we do.
Changes.
Yeah,
with that,
changes.
With that, I don't have the energy to play Where in the World is Derek San Diego?
Where in the world is?
So that's all we're going to say about that. We've said it all. We've said it again, and we've said it again. We're going to find out what it's made out of this year. Let's do some shout outs for YouTube. Shout out to S. Batesky, Matthew Bascom, Jonathan Strang, Zach 41, and Raider 187. Also, big shout out once again to Katrina Phillips for copying the entire pillaging lineup from onenationfanwear.com. And by the way, sporting that new pillaging just for fun hat from onenationfanwear.com. You guys get a really good look at that. Again,
One Nation.
Fire.
Real nice.
Fire.
One Nation, baby.
That's right. We all got that One Nation gear right now.
Got that
One
haircut?
Nation.
The One Nation haircut.
Hey, this is some right. This ain't some shit that's online. This some, yeah. Hit your boy up and he'll hook you up with some real shit. Not some shit that everybody got. Because everybody ain't got this right here. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if anybody else got this but me and
Sean.
him. You know what I'm saying?
Your boy Sean. Yo, but
Okay.
Kenny, real quick. Is that what we're gonna call that cut? That one cut is gonna turn to the One Nation cut though? That one cut?
COVID cut, bro. Hey, everybody, make sure you smush that light cycle and push that subscribe buttocks. Make sure you give us your support on YouTube. Push those buttons. Smash those memories.
That's how I do.
If you just want to be a little bit taller.
I wish I was a little bit taller.
Just go ahead and hit that button.
I wish it was a little bit taller. I wish it was a baller. I wish what's that white boy name that made that song? Yeah.
He was a white boy, bro.
If you've ever
that's Skilo, dog. He was
if you've
black
ever
as a
complained about the
motherfucker.
referee,
he sound like a white boy, but all right, it's cool.
All right. Well, let's get out of here then. That's it for this week's show. Tune in every week wherever podcasts are found. I'm Kenny Stapler, joined this week by
your boy Che.
Kane, what's up?
And Bobby Wasabi.
Stay safe, everyone. Until next week, keep the wind in your sails and the rum in your mug. And pillage on, Raider Nation. We out here. Peace.
Peace.
Go Raiders.
Raiders.
You're blowing the town like a diesel motor. You never shut down with your pistons pumping. You're mowing them down. It's a sight to see. They all lay their money down. When you're gone, mama, hell, you ain't acting right. When you're gone, mama, I can still see your eyes. When you're gone, mama, this'll be my last goodbye. When you're gone, gone, gone. When the sky is gray and the night sets in, it's your cue to do it all again. Until the next time I hear your name, right beside you now, my thoughts to remain. When you're gone, mama, I'll be missing you. When you're gone, mama, I can still see your eyes. When you're gone, mama, this'll be my last goodbye. When you're gone, gone, gone.
When you're gone, gone, gone.
When you're